Good evening, one and all. It's Sunday, it's the end of the week, and it's time that we jump into some more good old Warframe. Welcome in, everyone. Hope you're doing well where you are around the world today. And let's get started with our very first question. What on earth are these eyes and sculptures I have on my orbiter? Let's double check, I've forgotten the name of them. They are Hibakara sculptures. I believe you could get these from the Necroloid shop. Oh yeah, there you go, Himakara. But welcome in, everyone. Hope you are indeed doing well. Hope you've had yourselves a good weekend up to this point and are ready to relax with yet more Equinox shenanigans. For those of you who missed it on the last stream on Thursday, dove into what Equinox can do, digging through some of the abilities and discovering some rather unfortunate interactions with enemy body parts. Quite frankly, I consider it a bug because there's no way it's intended that abilities where you cannot dictate how they hit an enemy will hit a strong spot. So that's fun. I've reported that as a bug. We'll see if DE agree with me. I consider it one. But beyond that, Equinox has a lot more going on for her than just one build, and that is my intention today, is to start to get into the rest of those features, because as much as that is one nice and powerful setup, there's a lot more she can do. But yes, Pepe saying maybe someday you'll learn how to play Equinox. Who knows? Maybe this week you'll learn how to play Equinox. Who knows? Oh, excuse me. This, honestly, I consider a pretty solved setup. The main thing to take away is that it was not going to work against armored enemies. They just have too much armor. Even with corrosive projection slapped on, it wasn't doing much of anything. Now, there is actually a little bit of fun interaction with corrosive projection, because it's not something that you only need yourself, or can only use yourself. You can have a whole squad of people bringing corrosive projection, and indeed corrosive projection in combination with coaction drift, if you could somehow fit it into here. So the way that you figure out the damage reduction an enemy has is you take the armor that they have, which peaks at 2,700, you multiply it by 30. Sorry, multiply it by 3, not 30. Sorry, multiply it by 3, and then square root the entire lot. And that is the total damage reduction they have. Divided by 100 if you want to be technical about it. But as a percent, that's how much. So 2,700 is its peak, multiplied by 3, root the lot, you get 90. 90% damage reduction. If you take off 18% of their armor, 2,700, multiplied by 0.82, which is what's left, 2214. If we square root 2214 times 3, they still have 81.5% armor. Oh, damage reduction from armor, I should say. So this nearly doubles the damage you're dealing to them, which is good. But it's still leaving this huge gulf between their effective health and their actual health. There is still a massive, massive chunk. Do I know how it used to work? What, in terms of the armor equation? It's the one that we still use for Warframes, which is you take the armor value divided by 300 plus the armor value is your total damage reduction from armor. And enemies had uncapped armor values, they could have like 10,000 armor. Fun fact, if you take 10,000 and divide it by 10,300, you get a pretty high number, 97%, and enemies exceeded that. The difference between 90% and 97% damage reduction is a lot. So yeah, it's a good thing they don't scale quite that highly. It means now that armor removal isn't the be-all and end-all, or armor bypassing in the case of slash procs. But it does mean that there's still up to 90% armor that you need to consider when interacting with armored enemies. Now, one corrosive projection in a squad, that 18%, as I show, you nearly, not quite, but nearly double your damage against armored enemies, but that's still not quite enough. Equinox's maim absorbs, as it were, 75% of the hit points lost as damage for its nuke. So if you kill one enemy from max health to 0, then you've got 75% of their total hit points stored in maim, which isn't enough to kill another copy of that enemy. You kill 2 of them, you're now at 150%, 2 lots of 75%, And so anything that is within your nearest third of your ability range, they will take lethal damage when you uncast Maim. Because you'll deal 150% at point blank, scaling down to 0 damage at the very edge of the ability. I think it scales to 0. And assuming it's a linear fall off, which I'll need to test, that tells you where your lethal bit is. Is the stream audio a little muted? Shouldn't be. Anyone having issues with audio, or is it just Shezbot forgetting that they turned down their PC? I mean, everything's looking fine my side. Now seems fine to Pepe. There we are. Alright. You just turned up your stream volume? Yeah. Thing is, I don't broadcast really loud. This is an important thing, because you'll get some creators, they do broadcast really loud. The problem is then, is that when they go from a speaking volume like this, where they have it nice and loud, so you turn them to a medium volume and it seems all good, they then shout, and with their raised voice, it just clips. You get that horrible crunchiness to it, because their setup can't handle that volume of information. It's not designed to take it in that way, it's not designed to transmit it appropriately. And so you either get a really crunchy sound, or in some cases, it just cuts out entirely. There are streams that we raided into, for example, someone goes, "Oh my god, you're here! Thanks for the raid!" But what we actually hear is, "Oh my... thanks for the..." Because they're getting so loud, it just doesn't work. So yeah, I keep things on the quieter end, as much as others when we've collaborated may have complained about it, because it means you always hear me. It is important that I'm actually coming through on the audio 100% of the time, not just when speaking calmly. It wasn't always like that. I did have to update those settings like 5 or 6 months ago, I think it was, when I found some repeated issues, or when I got loud, it just cuts out. No good. But yeah, alright, audio aside, what was I? Yeah, main. So, if you got 2 enemies killed, 150%, but that's only going to be lethal on matching enemies out to about 1/3 of your radius. You need more and more kills, at least on basic units, to get a high enough damage to kill every unit out to a large portion of your radius. However, armored enemies break that math. If you kill an enemy with 100 hit points, okay, here is 75 damage stored. But they don't just have 100 hit points, they have 100 hit points and 90% damage reduction from armor. Let's just assume they've got the full amount. So the damage needed to kill them isn't 100, it's 1,000. 75 stored damage will not kill them. 150 stored damage will not kill them. You need to kill many, many units of the same type to finally reach 1,000 damage, just to kill them at point blank. To kill them further into the radius of the ability, multiplied up again by the amount lost over that distance, and you start to see just how devastating armor is. Now, with 1 corrosive projection, you effectively reduce the amount of kills needed to get to that lethal point by about 40%, which, it's an improvement, but it's not enough of an improvement, because otherwise, well, you wouldn't be worrying too much in the first place. But what happens if you stack multiple of these? 2,700 armor. Oh, wow. God damn, it's been a while since we've had that get blocked. You guys can't even see it. That is the first time in, like, 2 years Twitch's automod has had to block a specific word from some bot trying to promote the view botting services. Been like 2 years since one popped through here. Anyway, they can fuck off. That's weird. Yeah, if we take 2,700 armor, and then we remove the 18% armor 4 times over for a whole squad of people using it. 1 minus 0.1, 8 times 4, ba 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 ba. Oops, I typed that wrong somewhere somehow. Oh yeah, I forgot the 4 somehow. This will bring them down to 756 armor, which gives them a damage reduction of 47.6%. Now you might be thinking, hang on, wait, if they went from 90% damage reduction to 47.6, we haven't even halved it. Is that really that impactful? Okay, if you're part of this community, you're probably not thinking that. You already know where we go with this. No, this is huge. With 4 corrosive projections, each enemy's maximum armor, maximum before any other effect is coming into play, doesn't even double their effective health. That is colossal. That is absolutely colossal. There you are, Chuck. Absolutely, truly colossal. So it means then that taking that 47.6% average reduction, we might as well call it 50%, just to make the numbers easier in our head. 50% meaning they have 2 times effective hit points. Killing 3 enemies will translate over to 3 lots of 75% of their health added to the ability. That's 225%. It won't go very far, the fall off over distance will still be present, but by just 3 basic enemies in a 4 corrosive projection squad, you now have a lethal zone expanding from you. 4 enemies, it goes wider. You're now at 300% effective. 5 enemies, 375% effective. So, against armored enemies alone, Equinox's main is diabolically bad. It just struggles so hard with all of that armor. But with corrosive projections in the squad, her and many other frames really can shine against armored enemies, but Equinox in particular because she scales on their hit points. Absolutely so. So there's a fun little fact for you. Beyond that then, let's continue going through these little bits. Now, sleep build should be pretty simple. In fact, this one probably doesn't need any changes from its past. Let's have a quick look to do. So, the main idea of a sleep build is to put enemies to sleep. Having Metamorphosis is nice for switching into sleep mode, into night mode to be able to put enemies to sleep, because this one has it subsumed off, so the default state for my Equinox is day form. So, keeping that available to switch to night form, bam, we can put enemies to sleep. You'll notice that the teeny tiny strength does mean that, well, everything strength base is useless, but that's okay. That is okay, because sleep doesn't care about that. The wake up threshold of 50% doesn't change with strength, it is fixed. Who knows, maybe that's something they could address. So it means then that all we need to worry about is having range. So the range of casting and the radius of the AoE of the cast is as wide as we can make it, and duration so the enemies actually stay slumbering away, plus the efficiency so we can just cast it as cheap as possible. You put all that together with a little bit of a defensive rolling guard, and what do you know? Entire maps of enemies, even animals on the open worlds, they can't do shit. They are just completely shut down at that point. But let's make sure this is still working as intended, shall we? I'm sure it is, but, you know, who doesn't like a practical demonstration? Crescendo Stick is just for good old crescendo. That was back in stat stick days, but it's also still good for just finishes as is. I don't think we really need the blood rush, but we're going to keep it there anyway. Why not? Hello there, Oni. Hope you're doing well today. Now, one other thing with this sleep build, actually, before I go, is that we could always drop out Arcane Consequence for Arcane Trickery. If you're doing a lot of finishes, Arcane Trickery suddenly becomes an interesting inclusion, because if you become visible to enemies, you may end up being detected and alert them before you put them to sleep, and that can slow down the whole process of stealth kills and getting the stealth affinity bonuses. So if we have that invisibility, especially against Xmas as well, that may work in our favour. So, let's give it a whirl. That's no shooty, said no shooty. Okay, so switch over to night form. We definitely want to be in night form before we start casting. The two otherwise is the opposite of making the enemy sleepy. Now how long until I get my invis? Let's find out. Oh, that one actually saw me because I did not catch them in the invis earlier. Sorry, the sleep earlier. Come on, Trickery. Don't make a fool of me here. Trickery. No trickery. Okay. Well, we need to get rid of this guy, because he's soft alerted, and that's not okay. Doing it like that does not cost my stealth affinity bonus, because it was the operator that did it, not the Warframe. It's stupid that that's how the world works, but, well, we take what we can get with how finishers and stealth is supported in Warframe. Trickery, seriously. I did equip Trickery, didn't I? I definitely equipped Trickery, didn't I? There it is! Oh my god, how did that take so long to proc? Woo boy! Chance-based effects can really screw you over some days. Didn't even need to put that guy to sleep. It was just ripe for the taking on that one. The 15% chance? Well, never say never on 15s, eh? Tell you what, I was just low-key upset that Equinox is better at this even. Yeah, there's no LOS needed on putting targets to sleep. The only real downside is Xmas units, and this is why we have the invis. They don't have time to react properly. Oh, okay, well, that did not kill him quickly enough. Where did I get the viral proc from? What the fuck? There we are. I could do with using a better ramp for that, but you got the general gist of that there. We can take out the Xmas and keep on moving on without breaking our stealth affinity bonus, if that matters to you. I think I just heard someone die on my left, which is impressive considering I just killed nothing there, but okay. Now, watch as Arcane Trickery just never triggers the rest of the mission. Which would be just my luck. Oh, there it is. Okay, never mind. Also, fun fact, if you're rolling towards an enemy, you can actually activate the finisher attack. He saw me do that. You can activate the finisher attack mid-roll to cancel the roll and go straight into the finisher. Which just, you know, can be a little enhancement to your mobility. And having fast-acting finisher weapons like a dagger, good idea for it as well. Yeah, this is working as it always used to, which is great. Alright, let's put everyone else to sleep so no one knows what's going on here, and then get rid of you. I don't think I'm dodging that beam, am I? Oh, that's going to get rid of the stealth bonus. I didn't mean to press that. Okay, whatever. See, the fact that the stealth affinity bonus goes away if you even kill a soft alerted enemy. Not to mention that it doesn't really make any distinction for can they even see you. Stealth only applies for stealth affinity if they have literally no idea you were even there to kill them. If they have even the slightest idea that something is up, it doesn't qualify. That feels like a very, very harsh definition of stealth to me. Very harsh. Brings back memories of Intrigue's farm. Oh yeah, there's a lot of farms which are affected by this kind of stealth affinity approach, and Equinox remains a great frame for it. Although, because you could subsume Rest and Rage, she just kind of hands it over to someone else these days. She's got someone that does that for her. Oh, that's an Xmas unit. I need to deal with that. You know what, let's just do that. Oh, wonderful timing on the invis. I actually needed that so much. Hacks over here. Well, now the entire mission is alert. I'll just give up on stealth affinity for now and just stab everything. Stabbing everything is a neat trick. We're also going to need to get rid of those alarms, otherwise everything's going to be soft alerted, and that is also bad juju. I have become visible, but the good thing is that I go invisible when I hack. Yeah, there's a lot of soft alerted enemies at the moment. No stealth bonuses to be had unless we full reset it, and I can't be bothered with that. Yo, Xenos, welcome on in. Hope you're doing well today. We are just getting started on revisiting some of the other Equinox bits and pieces after diving into some interesting problems on Thursday. Hope you're doing well today. Hope you've had a good weekend. Having, I don't know what time zone you're in actually. I think you're going to be, what, like 2 PM? So yeah, still half a weekend to go almost. Yeah, so that Xmas is well out, although he might not have seen the corpse yet. No, he's seen the corpse. I really dislike that you can't just use finish on enemies that have no idea you're there. They're just aware something is wrong. Soft alert is just so harsh. With how many enemies spawn in missions, you have to really jump through hoops to make sure they have no idea something's happening. Is this guy aware of me? I don't want to touch him. Oh, he's not aware. That's enough to wipe the overguard, and then we can kill him. Yes, Miro. Yeah, yes. If you use Ivara's variant of sleeping enemies, it does reset the alert status, I think, straight away. Although it's inconsistent, I'll be honest. It's inconsistent on doing it straight away. It will reset alert status. I don't know if Equinox does the same thing, and I think we might be able to test that here. Let's do that. No, please don't die. Please don't die. Please don't die. Okay, there we go. Right. Let's see if this guy becomes unalerted after a moment of sleepy sleepies. Now, part of the problem with that is you want a higher duration that is more useful for longer, but it also means we're waiting longer. He's already become soft alert, so the AI has decided he's no longer aware of my precise location, which is good. But he's still concerned about the threat. And he wakes up and immediately happens to turn in my direction and becomes full alert again. That was unfortunate. I'm going to hide behind this time. There is an enemy over there up the ramp. I hope they don't come down this way. Okay, so he's soft alert now. That's good. He may still want to walk over this way, and if so, I'm just going to have to Scooby-Doo this. Oh no, he's gone back to full alert. That's interesting. So on the minimap it shows him as full alert, but that was not a guy actively trying to murderize me. At least it certainly didn't look like it. I'm going to once again hide around here. Hopefully further away might make an improvement on this. I just want to see, is he actually full alert, or is he just being regarded incorrectly by the game? It's hard to say. And this is part of the issue with stealth in Warframe. Alright, so he's on soft alert at the moment. He is just wandering off in a different direction. You always found that the augment helped with large groups of bad guys. Okay, which augment? Ah, there we go. He is now fully unalerted. Our stealth affinity bonus, if we had one, would have completely run out by now, but not to worry. We can... Why the fuck did he not die? Bruh. What was that? That was... And of course, because it had been so long since I crashed the Mercy threshold, Mercy was no longer an option as well. So it was just a rear finisher, and for some reason left him on like a hit point. You like the Calm and Frenzy augment for Rest and Rage? Okie dokie. I need to remind myself on the calm side of that. Calm and Frenzy. So, Rest and Rage uses Augment, Calm and Frenzy. There we go, thank you. Killing an affected enemy causes the effect to spread within 5 meters from range. Oh yeah, no. No. I gotta say, that's not an augment I would ever recommend for this setup, no. The simple reason being is that it has a 5 meter base spread range, and Rest and Rage has a 5 meter base range. So they're both going to scale range the same way. At best, you're going to cascade from someone towards the edge of a zone to someone who is just beyond that same edge. But it needs to be someone who's not already put to sleep. But what, are we intending to now put them to sleep after they've seen us start stabbing everyone? Whereas you could just cast again. At range. So much more range, and now, yep, they're all just held. It can't be cast wastefully, because it will only ever cast if you could get at least one enemy with the AoE. So I strongly feel that for sleep side, it is just a bad augment. It's got the idea of working, but if you're trying to go for stealth, it's too little too late. We got a soft alerted enemy around this corner. Oh, it's an Xmas, that's why. Can't fix that. We can't shoot it. Just can't fix it. That's another Xmas. Well, it was. Oh, and I hit the barrel and it killed everyone in the the locality. That also works. 2017 Warframe was different, you had issues of energy economy. I mean, fair enough. This is using a max efficiency build, so that's how I fix the energy economy. We also have energy income from Arcane Energize, sure, but primarily it is that max efficiency. Ah, screw the stealth. See, if you don't care about the stealth affinity bonus, you can just put them to sleep and enjoy full effect, which is pretty nifty. Torment is going to be a little bit more problematic, however. Invis coming to my aid there. Gotta love it. And yeah, also with maximum efficiency means you can also make good use of the 4. I don't know if the 4 is actually full efficiency though. Oh, it is. Yep. Yeah, I don't have any mess up on the duration. Of course, I've got positive duration. So yeah, we'll use the 4 for hit point generation too. And that is nice. Not many hit points, of course, because strength, but still enough to make a difference. The 3, however, is basically useless.
Very good.
There we are. Yeah, if you're going for a sleep build, you can easily afford the high efficiency, and you don't have a reason to tank the efficiency, so send it. Very slow run mission, but that's stealth. Stealth is slow. Oh yeah, I know Arcane Energize came from, you know, more complicated circumstances and whatnot. There is also the matter of Xeneric, or just, you know, any other forms of energy generation. Go for Prime Flow and Preparation. Whatever approaches you wish to go for. This uses indeed a Preparation setup. No Prime Flow on it, but a Preparation setup. I think I have an Energy Shard. Yes. So without the energy shard, I'll be starting with 250 energy and 6.25 on this. 250 divided by 6.25, we'll get 40 casts before even picking up a single energy orb. And each energy orb is another 4 casts. That's a heck of a lot of casts. That is a heck of a lot. And all of that is achieved with just minimum efficiency preparation. Sorry, maximum efficiency preparation, not minimum. That'd be bad. Welcome in, Alsu. There you are. The sleep build does indeed still work. Arcane Trickery, that 15% chance is a bastard. But aside from that, it is a viable option. Yeah, mostly comes down to, do you want to maintain your stealth affinity bonus or not? There are other things which key off of finishers, not many. By other things, plural, there's actually one right there. I don't know if there's much that comes off of melee kills that you'd care about. A little bit of health regen and armor. Guaranteed to activate, but you know. Primary weapon damage. Heal companion if you really want to go down that road. Yeah, not a lot. You're finally back home from an 11-hour shift? Oof. Ooh. Yeah, that is not fun. Okay, so we got those two. They're working. Gloom is a build on here. Let's see, this Gloom here was only going to 75%. Okay. With a low range on it. Okay. Okay. We are getting enemies down to 23% of their normal damage dealt, which is nice. And then also slowing them by up to 80% with Peaceful Provocation, which is nice. And then stack that with Gloom for another 75% slow. That started to get a little bit stupid. That's now actually maxed Gloom effect. Just split across 2 abilities. Problem is still that radius. I feel like we can do better. I just got to figure out how we can do better. Part of the problem with Gloom is that getting that full slow effectiveness is expensive. You need, what's it, for 95% max slow, I think it is? 272% strength. We're only at 215, and that is with a 15% strength shard. So this is 200 at basic. That's a toughie. We can do something like Blind Rage like that, and that does indeed put us there with the shard. Without the shard, it would be just under at 269. So this gives us full on that. This was already capped out, interestingly. This caps at 200% on its slow. But now with the two combined, this is a 99% slow. Ooh. So I think it'd be in day formal having slow go through Gloom. I mean, you can stack the 2 there, and then you have total 99% slow. Enemies are 100 times slower. That's a lot. In case you missed that, that's a lot. The strength caps out at 250% strength, into the strength bonus on this at 50. The damage multiplier from enemies at 0.18. I think it just keeps going, yeah. I forget how the equation is on the damage multiplier in this, because there was that team kill build trying to go the other direction. It's ruined by having my Archon shard. Will it show me the effects of this, please? There we go, yeah. So with the Archon shard, it only causes enemies to deal double damage, which is not enough. Now. You don't like that range? I don't like this range, no. That going out to a maximum of 9.28 meters? That's not enough. No, I need to find other ways to make this all work. Well, let's think then. So first of all, get our range back from this. Problem is now is that our duration is at 68%. The range growth on Gloom is not great already as a result there. We're trying to stack the efficiency to afford all of this, that is coming with some serious consequences. I think that probably needs to go, but then how do we afford all this? As the cost of energy per enemy is now 0.62 there, and this is up to 7.35 energy per enemy.
Which is a bunch, in case you didn't notice.
Yeah. And then we got these horrible dash and D polarities left to work with, and for what? They got enjoy for duration. I mean, we could take out Nullifier. Nullifier was a protective arcane way back when, but we're better than that now. So that could be concentration. That new tech is definitely welcome. In terms of the dash polarity, we can also go with... probably want to lean into the range, to be honest. Because we got no range modding on here at all. Now we can take this even further. That's now up to a 23.2 max range. And the range, helpfully, is identical on this, 23.2. So that is good. Equilibrium moment? Yeah, you can try and work with that and a companion to generate the orbs as well, yeah. For depolarity, because we're taking one with Rolling Guard, and just Rolling Guard is nice for a frame like Equinox. Although for something like this, you probably won't need it. No, this counts as Eximus, that's what that is. The question is, what else can we put onto there that is going to make this shine, or do we go with something less than ideal for the slot? I mean, more duration. Not against it there. It's only 15% though, but like, not against it. Are you suggesting Rolling Guard, Shezbot? Or are you just commenting on it being there? You're blind. Okay, fair enough. At least we figured that much out. Yeah, I can slap that on as a starting point, although to be honest, we could probably just fit message in there. Yeah, it doesn't match the polarity, but it's got a low enough drain that it works anyway. Now, this does mean our starting energy on this one is... I have an Amber Shard. So for people who haven't sharded their frame, the starting energy will be a little bit more painful. But 261.2 is plenty enough for me to get started. It's 62.5 to cast this, and then the drain thereafter is still a little bit chunky. The enemies should be slow to absolute bumblefuck. Not to mention just dealing nearly no damage. I wonder, do Eximus deal only 18% damage with this ability active? Are they affected even if this CC doesn't affect them? It's an easy way to find out. We go to the simulacrum! Let's go.
You are a true hunter. Where would the sanctuary be without you?
And as we get testing on this, I am indeed going to need to open up my... Ignore that for a moment. I need to open up my notepad from last time for Equinox. Where is it? Equinox notes. There we are. Let's just mark this off as stream to Sunday Boogaloo. Because putting silly little jokes into notes is how you make it easier to read them. So, sleep build. Still working, no problems. Trickery is a bastard. And now I'm questioning Eximus with regards to damage reduction. We're going to take a Butcher Eximus. We're going to bring their level down to just level 20. Should be just fine. Add cold weapon for the fun after testing. I mean, cold can stack to 100% slow, so that's already kind of done. And it's more to the point of having an aura of effect. We don't need to interact with them. We don't need to try to make it happen. It's just there. And I think it goes through all walls and terrain too. But anyway, let's test on this guy real quick. How hard does he whack me with his cleaver at level 20? 60 damage flat. Oh, that's actually really convenient. Do it again. Yeah, flat 60 damage. Do it again. 60 damage. Okay, cool. 60 is confirmed. So now, switch form. Alright. Let's get rid of the overshields again. Oh, I've got a shield bonus that's draining still from Metamorphosis. That's really annoying. That is really, really annoying. Why did they make it where there's a set of buffs that drain over time on form switching? I still need to know to this day, why did they decide to do that? This is slowly going up. Slows enemies based on damage taken by nearby. Okay, yeah. Wait, the shields I'm losing passively from the buff is triggering peaceful provocation? That's stupid. That's stupid. I don't like that. Anyway, let's see. 370, 310. Okay, he's still hitting me for the normal damage there. And if I very, very carefully crack the Overguard... Hold on, how do I carefully crack Overguard? That would kill in one shot. This will probably kill him in one shot, but let's try. Shit. Okay. I need a slightly weaker weapon. Just a little tiny bit weaker. There we go. Okay. So once again, form switch. I've got to wait for all the hit points to go. We'll be able to tell the difference anyway. Let's just activate this now. Right. Can I just gently remove your Overguard, sir? Okay. Overguard is removed. Dude Bro is still moving a decent... Okay. Decent speed because Peaceful Propagation is only at 12% effect. But let's see now. We've got 370 shields. 359. Okay, so I can indeed reduce his damage down, but only when the Overguard is gone. That is interesting. Overguard blocks crowd control. That makes sense. But Overguard blocking damage reduction? That's a little rough. These are the units you'll want to be reducing the damage of. He didn't really comply with that animation, did he? Oh, there's Simran. Welcome on in. So yeah, that's a depressing conclusion, honestly. I can summon a new one, we'll get to verify the same effect. Not with the electric thingy-bobbies. We're also actually, we can see the electric thingy-bobbies are doing a fair chunk of damage, so you do need to worry about these. These are just level 20. And yeah, full damage. Now, if I apply Gloom as well, we can see he is still handling it just fine. I'm going to tank some damage, just so I can power up Peaceful Provocation. It's going to take a while. God, he casts that very frequently, doesn't he? My shields. My beautiful shields. We're at 35% on Peaceful Provocation. 36, 37, 38, 39. It's slowly getting there. You remember Trinity be able to dispel Overguard entirely with a second ability? Not sure on that. I'll be quite honest with you. Not sure on that. I know Smite can do it. That's Oberon's first. There, I've got my shields back. Go for it. Come on, buddy. I'm just going to very slowly charge at Peaceful Propagation so that when we activate, or rather, when we remove his Overguard, we'll see the full shenanigans of it. And if only there was a visible indication on the UI as to when my companion's guardian recharged. Thankfully our energy is going down very, very slowly. I need to double check on exactly how that works. 73% peaceful propagation. 75. 80%. I think 80% is its cap, so we're good now. Let's... And here we go! Alright. I need to survive the electric, but here we are. This is a 99% slowed enemy. 99% slow. I think my energy drain has actually increased now that he's no longer got Overguard. Hold on, I'm going to go back to check that with a replay in a moment. It doesn't slow down their speech, which is probably for the best, given what that would sound like 100 times slower. Just Xmas coming out with a brown noise. Has anyone translated Grenadier language? It's mostly just a slightly bastardized version of English. Get them is get them. Yeah, some of it is a little bit less obvious, but a lot of it is just, what if you sounded wrong when speaking English? Like, what if it was translated by someone who is deaf? I have no idea what he said there, though. I'll be honest. Look at the speed of that swing. Can I stand in front of it? Oh! Oh no! The damage! Can I stand in front of it again? The same swing? No. One per customer. But you'll notice as well, he's not activated the electric orbs the entire time. Because he's this tremendously slowed, he just cannot interact. Now, the other fun thing about being this slow, it has no effect on your physical effect on them. Beautiful. Yeah, that is... Oh boy. Yeah, with him gone, my energy drain is nil, because both of these abilities only drain energy when there is something to drain them. If we get a new overguarded enemy, I move back in around him, you'll see now my energy is going down again slowly. Slowly, but still going down. And once the overguard is broken, in comes the energy drain again. Oh, hello. Now, because that is a passive thing, he doesn't do an animation. I think he can just keep doing it, can't he? Yeah. See, that's much more threatening. We can slow him down, but we don't slow down the cooldown on that ability. That's annoying. Anyway, executed. So those are some very interesting details. Let's add this all to the Equinox notepad, because I'm going to need to keep a record of all of this. Overguard blocks damage reduction of calm, that's what it is. Overguard blocks slowing of calm. No, that's a peaceful propagation. While overguarded, enemies do not cause energy drain from gloom, but do appear to cause a drain from calm, because we're still losing energy over time, just not as fast. Gloom is the more expensive per enemy. I think it is anyway. Hold on, I'll be honest. giving a range on energy drains has always thrown me off. Gloom, 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 gloom. While enemies are within range, gloom consumes a amount of energy per second up to a cap. All right, the top end is the caps here. It's the 0.62 per second. So I guess, yeah, they're both using the same. Is it gloom that is blocked then, or is it pacify that's blocked? Hold up, hold up, hold up. I need to know. So let's turn off the gloom. We can bring that back at full effectiveness straight away. Let's go stand next to this guy and see if we have an energy drain. No energy drain. Okay. I activate the gloom, and now we have an energy drain. Interesting. I thought it was the other way around. But no, 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 no. It is gloom which is applying the energy drain, even though it is doing nothing to slow this guy down. And lifesteal doesn't care about whether the enemy's in the aura or not, so that's a little bit fucked. Yeah, the enemy damage reduction does get blocked by Overguard, Luke. It does. Okay, so yeah, it's while Overguarded, enemies do not cause energy drain from Pacify, but do I can take it up here to we've confirmed it, but do cause a drain from Gloom. Interesting. Equinox better than Severgoth in that regard. So bearing that in mind then, well, let's see what we can make of this. That also indicates to me that Pacify was a draining ability rather than a cost. Just confirm, wiki confirms. Whilst it is active, drains an amount of energy per second per enemy in the aura, which is not what the ability says. If we go to the card here, it just says energy per enemy, much like energy per ability. So you would expect it's a discrete cost, not a continuous cost. But nope. Reading the card does not explain the card. Looks like you need 500% strength to reach 90% damage reduction. Oh, yeah, because the equation on it is a bit wonky, isn't it? So Equinox reduces enemy damage by... Oh, is it that far? Hold up. Yeah, Equinox reduces enemy damage by 1 minus 0.5 over the strength. Yeah. So, yeah, we do need the... Yeah, I see now. We need the 500% strength to get that 0.5 divided by 5, which means that it's reducing their damage by 1 minus 10%, which is to reduce their damage by 90%. Which is a backwards way of doing it, but it's how they figured out how to do it. Yeah. Which also, fun fact, is why there is a team kill build, for those of you who don't know. But we can get back to that. Des saying energy drain on 3 applies in night form. Okay. Is that not what we just discussed? Are you trying to tell me something different, or repeating my words back at me? In shorter form, I'll admit. Not sure if you're trying to point something out there. Yeah, it doesn't affect enemies with Overguard, and apparently not Anarch Gladiuses. Well, that is definitely a bug. Does protect your own Overguard, however, because it's reducing enemy damage output, not the damage we take. Which is an important point the wiki has there. So yeah, that's useful. Let's say damage reduction applied is affected by how far the enemy is from Equinox. Oh, yes, I recall that now. Yes, you're very right. Yeah, that section is also on the wiki. Equinox has a lot of tapering effects, and I have to wonder why. I really have to wonder why Equinox has so many tapering effects. Because tapered effects are really hard to kind of conceptualize. To realize the effect in the moment, it's just difficult. So Equinox has a shield capacity increase, an armor increase, a damage bonus, and a speed increase, all of which just fade over time on switching. What do I mean by tapering effects? Tapering. The word tapering. It's like going down gradually. Rather than off a cliff edge of full, done, you're at the edge of the ability, she has it taper off. So the buffs from Metamorphosis taper off over time. The damage reduction, as you pointed out, tapers off over distance. The damage applied by Maim tapers off over distance. Now, the idea of, oh, well, it'll make you want to switch forms more. The buffs on switching form are not the reason we switch form, for starters. Second of all, making it where they're just less effective, they're not high buffs to begin with. Oh look, you switched, here is a 25% damage bonus. It applies to only you, temporarily, and it fades away. No! Meanwhile, Rhino just applying it to the entire team, more effectively, at a higher value, and it stays at the whole goddamn value. Yeah. Now, dual body on Equinox would make it where switching forms was a little more comfortable, because like you could set up for different sets of stat demands, and there are indeed different sets of stat demands here, partly caused by breakpoints. You can put 500% strength into night form to get that damage multiplier all the way down to 10%, which is nice. Meanwhile, the day form has already given up on strength right back at 250%. It just doesn't go any further. Day form giving a strength buff to you and your allies, that's great. You swap form, where's your strength buff? It's gone. I want to like Equinox, and Equinox does have some use cases, basically the builds that I've had in the past. But what those build cases come down to are using individual parts of a kit at a time. This is using Maim, and is now enhanced by Subsuming Smite. Prior to Smite existing in Subsume, basically prior to the Subsume system existing, a pure Maim build was basically you just walk through and shoot stuff, which is what 90% of people used Equinox for. The remaining 10% used it for the sleep build because they didn't want to use Avara, or found that Equinox is better, because she is. Duality is a spit in the face with recent update demonstrated, but we'll get back to that. I've not even actually got the duality augment on here. I guess I was testing things with it and never fixed the build. But this we need to test. Now we've got the strength to get maximum gloomage. I need to test that efficiency, because if that efficiency kills it, it kills it. Do I think Equinox should be reworked the same way as Orion? No. Orion and Sirius are two forms that are fighting side by side. They are two entirely separate frames, two entirely separate abilities. You can switch between them, but they are distinct. Equinox is a shapeshifter. Equinox transforms her very self. So, a permanent clone? No, that's out. Dual modding? I can see the value in it, and it would be nice, but nicer would be abilities that work together rather than were diametrically opposed. Each ability being just kind of there in the moment, you just cast whichever one you want, that kind of defeats the whole point of form shifting. Equinox is supposed to be two forms of herself with 3 abilities, rather than just one 6 or 7 ability frame. So ultimately she has a very different ability expression compared to Orion Sirius, and that's fine. That's intended. she can take from that tech. She can appreciate what that tech has to offer without needing to replicate it. Breaks free for 10 seconds. Yeah. Let's say her strength, even when augmented, is just overshadowed by one subsume. Alright, she can get that up to 80% strength continuously. I'm thinking you're referring to the... oh, for goodness sake, Kenneth. Power's only 50%. Are you referring Bright Bonnet? Bright Bonnet's on a 20% base. Equinox is on a... yeah, I think 20% base as well. This one is uncapped and provides energy and affects the team as well, but yeah. More I think about it. And you could apply... Bright Bonnet goes up to 200% in helmet? Okay. Oh yeah, because yeah, it does have a cap, but it has a high cap. Yeah. And you can indeed buff that with Arbacep. Is it 150? Okay, you know what? I'm just going to go to the goddamn wiki. I'm not going to read Twitch chat for mechanical information because a lot of you speak with such authority. And we've been down this road a million times. No one learns, not even me. Ability strength bonus cap is diminished to 100%, which is doubled if invigorated by Arbacep. Alright. So Miralabe knew what they were talking about. Missile. Bruh. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, on Noko, it's capped at 150, which is double to 300 if invigorated by Spore Spring or Arbacep. Got it. Yo! Miralabe, thank you very much for the gifted sub. Over to Mrs. I think all has been forgiven already. That's all fine then. Thank you very much for the gifted sub there. Much appreciated. But yeah, that is a very big point, is that Bright Bonnet here caps at 100% basic, 200% when buffed. The buff requires you to equip a heavy weapon with which for the majority of missions, you don't need a heavy weapon, so having a utility heavy weapon is perfectly acceptable, and it's not exactly a bad heavy weapon either. It is effective. So comparing that to an augmented max of 80% strength that you can't even use in the night form is quite something. But at the same time, taking off means night form also loses the damage reduction aura, and that is kind of a big one, and wants the strength. It does feel a little bit all over the place in that regard, doesn't it? It does feel a little all over the place. The only real redeeming quality to provoke in this regard is that the strength buff is mobile. You just carry it with you. You could just keep it up at all times. But it also comes with an energy tax. By using the strength buff, it costs energy. And I believe that costs that energy even if it's your teammate casting. So, you know, you put it back next to a Banshee spamming sonar. Let's have a look at this. Pacify. Pacify, that's how you spell can. And provoke. Dayform. Each Warframe ability cast within the aura, so yeah. Yikes. Yeah. Damn, does she have a lot of... A lot of ways to just make her worse. For no good reason. Well, I'm sure it was a good reason when Equinox came out. Let's be fair, Equinox came out in 2015. Warframe was a very, 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 very different game in 2015. If we have a look at the patch history... Let's see, what was there in terms of changes to abilities and stats? 2015 introduced. Blah, blah, blah. These are just all fixes. No change to stuff. Power efficiency now applies to pacify and provokes. We didn't previously.
Sirius and Orion, more like
Yo.
Mario and Luigi lol. Hey Ken, how are you?
Yes, indeed. We're going to basically have a Mario and Luigi Warframe version, which, let's be real, it's an upgrade. Much appreciated if you continue support there, Bowser, up onto 31 months. And what a name to be talking about. Mario and Luigi. It all makes sense. Cheers. Cheers indeed. Yeah, Equinox coming out in 2015, and then consider the process to farm. I was like, wow! Fourth ability had its energy drain reduced in 2015. Then it's just fixes, conclave and fixes. God, so many conclave things. 3 augments introduced in 2016. Damn, they're really just full centered on that. Okay. Rest and Rage will now slow boss type enemies instead of putting them to sleep. It did? I'll have to double check on that. Maybe that was an old thing because that's 2016. Maybe they've changed that since. Let's have a look. Things. Conclave models stuff again. Okay. Prime came out in 2019. It's description change. We then get to the armor change that happened in 2020, which just goes to show they weren't really caring that much about our armor because it went from 100 to 125 on basic, 120 to 150 on the prime. Now I've got 160, so I think we might see yet another change to that further down these patch notes. I'm just going to keep scrolling. More fixes. Fixed Equinox MAME, being able to chain stagger Xmas units with Overguard active. Okay. Prime became MR0. More just general fixes. Warframe stat changes, and indeed that's where the extra 10 points of armor came from. None of these are actual changes. It was a rebalance of how mods apply. And fix. Yeah, she hasn't had a single review of her kit. Not one since she was released. According to that entire patch history, and the wiki's pretty comprehensive on these things, not a single thing changed about her in any substantial form since 2015. Ooh, boy. That's wild. Everything else is either just fixes, like fixed to script end of mission when using Equinox, or fixed Equinox's duality spectre not using your secondary weapon if you don't have a primary. You know, just basic things. But she's the same frame for 11 years? Wow. And it's not like she's, you know, a cozy frame. If I can find the stats, warframe.com/stats? Ah, here we go. I think I have... Nope, not that one. Will this lead me to it? Nope. It's going to be a stats page somewhere I can find. Ah, found it. Right. Warframe.com/stats was literally it. So, global community stats for usage of frames. Bearing in mind that in 2025, Wukong Prime was at 4.36%. That's the top one. If we go to rank 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we got Wiz Prime at 3.43. So that gives you an idea of what the high percentage frames are at. So let's find Equinox. I've just passed Lavos. Sorry, Lavos Prime at 0.86. Still going. Still going. I don't think I missed it. Equinox Prime 0.45%. Below Oberon Prime, below normal Styanax. Just above Baruch Prime. 0.45%. And if I keep going down, let's find normal Equinox. Oh, I found normal Lavos, 0.17%. A lot of people realized what he was capable of with the Prime. Normal Equinox, 0.05%. The third least used frame in the entire game. The third least used frame in the entire game. Banshee was somewhere on there. Now, chat. There are two frames in the entire game that have less usage than normal Equinox. Can you guess what they are? Only two frames in all of Warframe that have a lower usage. Limbo? Wrong. Loki? Wrong. Excal Prime? That is one of them. Yep. This is what it takes to be this unused, is to be a founder exclusive. Excal Prime is at 0.04% to Equinox's 0.05. And the other one, in the second lowest place, is normal Baruch. Because let's face it, getting Baruch Prime is a lot easier than getting normal Baruch, and Baruch is kind of powerful only if you know how to really use his kit. He is not a kit that lends itself to being appreciated. I don't appreciate it. The whole juggling of restraint is just unfun. So that is where Equinox sits. 0.05 on the normal version, and let me see, what was it? And 0.45% on the Prime. So out of all Warframe usage combined in 2025, she had a total of 0.5%. 1 in 200 missions had Equinox in them. Or was where Equinox was selected. 1 in 200. So Wukong's 1 in about 23, I want to say. Hello there, Igni. Welcome on in. So yeah. No surprise, honestly. No surprise. Let's give this Gloom setup an approach, see what feels bad about it, see what feels good about it, and see what needs to be changed to really make it shine. Let's go. Deep dive turns out there's circuit missions. You know what? That's actually a distinct possibility, isn't it? I wonder if those usage metrics are polluted by the circuit. That's a very interesting thought there. That is a very interesting thought. Ooh. Okay. You said, love your content. Your relic video a while ago helped me massively. Name my clan in honor of you, relic probability. Oh, thank you. I'm glad it was so transformative. From mobile, hey Kenji, can I ask you insight of lowering a price bundle if you're in an item? It's not exploit right or is it bannable? How do you mean? What, you mean like in the market? Well, like if we go into a folly bundle like this. Oh, actually, I have everything here because, of course, DE gave it to me. Let's find a bundle I don't have everything for. Well, now I have none of it. Hold on, I could do this. Let's see. Aha! Yeah. So I own the Redeemer. So then, just the Tigris and Actagara are in here. So the prices come down from 450 to 235, which is more than the 18% sale that they're saying. Also, that's kind of Yeah, that looks wrong, doesn't it? Yeah, that's a total of almost 44% off, not just 18, but sale plus discount. So what actually is your question, Mobile? Is this an exploit to have an intended discount? Lower prices. Yes, lower prices are indeed lower prices. You're going to need to give me more context. Like, what is the concerning point that you are trying to raise? Because if I just look at this screen here, this looks correct. So what do you think is the exploit that could be potentially bannable that I can then address for you? Let's go... I mean, let's stick with this. It's been a good testing ground so far. Yeah, we don't need to guess. We can let Mobile Suits say what they believe the issue is. We don't need to guess for them. Oh, look at that instant 95% slow. You tried. Anyway. It occurs to me I could have just been using this on Daveform the whole time, and that's probably why I designed it the way I did. I realise now. At least we can see this is certainly stopping them moving. But yeah, oh god, that energy drain. Oh god. Oh boy. Yeah, I think maybe 95% slow is enough. Maybe, just maybe, because we're still only at 12% from peaceful provocation. Maybe we don't need to go that far. No. You don't want to get banned or anything about it. That's not an explanation as to what you think the issue is. So, if you're seeing a discount in the market and the discount looks correct, you know, it's all like, hey, here is a Prime Access for a penny. Obviously, question, there's an issue there. But if there is a discount being applied in the market, it's not because you broke the game. It's because you're getting a discount. That's not bannable. I'm not even sure why that's a question. Hey, we got a gift from Mirror Abe. It is a Mirror Abe. What am I going to do with these? Mirror Abe, why? What am I... There's a reason I didn't own those weapons. I'm good. You've just polluted my poor EDA and ETA options. That's all you've achieved here. Oh dear. Well, that is certainly one of the usernames of all time. This is a very cursed segment of today's stream. I'm not even responding to that properly because I know you're here on the stream. You've got the response you were looking for. Okay, right. So back to this. This build that I broke. Please EDA option, does that work? So if you own a weapon, then it can occupy slot 1. Slot 1 on EDA and ETA will always pick stuff you own, at least as far as it can, to ensure that you have at least something you can bring. So if you have a greater arsenal of shit, then you've got a greater chance of it rolling shit. Now, Prime variants will override, or are rather cross-compatible with normal variants, so it's not really that much of an issue. Probably zero issue at all, given those weapons there, but still, it's a nice complaining point. Also, yes, EDA tables can, not always, but can change when your inventory changes, like if you get gifted an item. So that could also give you a way to re-roll positively or negatively. Okay, but coming back to this, we had the Gloom, which was on a 75%. Yeah, I had the Blind Rage off. Yeah, and Intensify instead. That's what it was. Yeah, 75% at that point. But then we can get a base. Was it 43% strength on this? So let's see. 35 times 0.43. It's another 15%. So that would bring this up to 90%. And then a Peaceful Provocation, it takes time. Excuse me. Takes time to get that up to full power. Converts damage done to enemies to another 15 with strength, 30% strength. So once we got that damage, we've fully stacked it, gets all the way up to 73. You put 73% extra strength into this. That is plus 25.55 slow. We're already at 75, so yeah, that would cap it out. In fact, what point would it cap out? If we have 43% on this, 75 plus 0.43 times 35. Yeah, it's already at 90.05. 95 minus that. We only need 4.95. 35 divided by... No. 4.95 divided by 35 is only 14.1% increase, yeah. Once you get 14% strength from this, you'll be able to cast Gloom with full effect. Maximum slot. Yeah. It shows then that we don't need that. We stick in day form, we keep the strength, we keep the gloom, and I guess that means we also keep the main. Yeah. Now, we've got the duration there. We may not decide to keep it on duration. We could go for something else, maybe even more range. I could see why I went for the efficiency earlier, but honestly, I don't think that's going to be necessary. We can make this work. Why not use growing power for more strength? Partly it doesn't fit the polarity, partly we don't need two Garugas, because we have enough strength. We're going to hit breakpoints. Once this is at 95%, you're done, you're good. You can stop. There is no more strength to be gained on any part of Equinox's kit at that point, because the stats on this are crap, and we're not form switching. The stats on this cap, the stats on this cap, and the damage on this is pointless. At least the strength-based damage. The recast, oh, that's great, but that's not strength-based. So yeah, putting it on enemy radar would just not be helpful to us. Hello there, Ray. Welcome on in. Oh, I suppose, of note, I have got the 15% Archon charge, so this would be 200 normally. 200 plus the strength from this would be 40%, plus 30%, 70%, 270%. This would be just shy of 95%. Okay. Which, to be honest, most people is good enough. So yeah, that'd be fine. Shard it if you want more. So let's go back in then, give that another whirl, and see how that shines for us. Just how shiny will this be? Bear in mind, you can also get the extra little teeny tiny bit of strength from anything like Operator Focus Schools, from various not subsumes, from Arcanes. You can get it from just allies even. So there's a lot of ways of getting that extra bit. But for this, we are going to simply go bap into, look at your speed. And now we add on this. That's doing good. We can head into the next room and sneeze. Not quite lethal. Didn't... Okay, not even close to lethal on the bombard. Armor remains a problem. And again, I could swap out enemy radar for corrosive projection to increase damage by like nearly double, but only nearly double. That still wouldn't kill the bombard. But we can indeed see the effect here. And I can, in fact, recast Gloom now for that full 95%. Cool. From Contra saying, back to when you had blind range on the build, because all the dirt drains are over time, for ability cost. Would dropping one of the duration mods for fleeting expertise be better? Potentially? You'd have to double check on that, because drain over time is a combo of duration and efficiency. So, potentially? It did have other impacts, such as the rate of growth of the range, I think it was. Need to reactivate this, my bad. But as this works as is, we don't need the Blind Rage because we don't need to generate all the strength in normal modding. We can get it from Equinox herself. We just don't need to do that. Alright, I don't have enough damage to one-shot, but let's try it anyway. I killed 2 of them, but this guy's just chilling over here with not even a third of his health gone. This makes perfect sense. What is my ability range on this? It's 26 meters. It's not a lot of fall off. Hello there, target star. Welcome in. Also, I might need to double check the damage type I have on this. I think that's pure blast at the moment, and that is pretty bad. Oh, I rolled well sooner than I needed to. Hold on, hold on. You can get me. Come on, guy. Come on. You can get me. You can do it. Here it comes! Way! Oh, he actually got me. Alright, now let's kill you. Sneeze. Oh god, that was woefully ineffective sneeze. We'll just clean him up. Nope, something was shooting me. Not even sure where it was. Very, very low on the energy now because I'm not getting energy drops, and that Xmas did not trigger energize, which is concerning. I'm about to run out here. And I get a single energy orb which doesn't proc energize. Damn you, energize. Damn you. Yeah, I definitely have the wrong damage type on here at the moment. Okay, that's fine. I am on Xeneric, so I can just fix this. We'll just give it a moment. Recharge. The upside of low enemy density to make up for the downside of just not getting the drops you want in time. You can just take a moment, sit back, relax, and do this. Also, what weapon was it offering me? Kuva Carrick? Never mind, you can cease. I don't actually need to do Hardened Wellspring. I'm not going to get any benefit from the strength here, but... eh. Alright, robots. Because I thought about buying a bundle, I only need one item in it. It's much cheaper than just buying that single item outside bundle. Oh yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah. You're not going to get banned for taking advantage of a discount being offered in the market, where that is a legitimate discount that is intended to be offered by DE. When I say intended to be offered, you'll notice a difference if you were to, say, force the market to give you a completely impossible price. That's called hacking. Or if you were to come across a discounted item which was a clearly unintended discount, like it was offering a bundle for a literal penny. If it's neither of those two things, you're fine. If it's the former, where you actively are the one causing there to be a problem, then yes, that could be bannable. And if it was the latter, if it was DE's own mistake, then it wouldn't be bannable, it's just they would probably reverse the transaction. There you go. Look, bruh, that was never meant to happen and you know it. But yeah, just bundle discounting, that was a thing they expressly introduced. Hopefully we should cover that. Is negative plat still an issue? Yes, and always will be. Don't get your plat from shady places, get it from DE. If you are trading exceedingly expensive items, decide for yourself. Why would someone buy this item for such an exceedingly expensive price? If you are concerned, I believe you can reach out to DE when a trade is completed. Say, yo, this happened, just want to make sure the plat is safe, and do not touch the plat until they confirm it. But honestly, for the vast majority of players not engaging in such ludicrous Riven Market, and it's always Riven Market stuff, you're fine. No shady seller is going to get you put into negative plat over a even a bite mod. It's not happening. When you hear about people who got absolutely stung for negative plat, it's usually your thousands of plat Riven mods, or even tens of thousands. Now, how DE handles that? Largely, I don't agree with. I think is a poor customer service, at least in the majority of cases as described. But thankfully, the vast majority of players will not be affected by it. Right? How affected do you get by Gloom? Oh wow, that is. Yeah, that's an effect right there. Oops, I never reactivated main. Hi, yeah, can you stop teleporting me whilst you are in your stupid animation of fun? It's actually really annoying. Thank you! There we are. From Vox Mulder, Heck Engineer, love your videos, must follow. Thanks for helping new player make sense of it all. You're very welcome. And welcome into the Twitch stream as well. Hope you enjoy your stay. You know what I'm telling me, these guys, with all this slowing, I can't just hit them with a finisher. I mean, I suppose I can open them to a finish with daggers, that works. Come to think of it. Like, they're so slow that that is genuinely an option. Oh, that one just died. They're allowed to do that. I wipe the overguard, he can't do shit. Wipe the overguard, she can't do shit. Oop, okay. I have slightly exaggerated the amount of shit they cannot do. Fixed it. Fixed it. But yeah, Gloom here is objectively better than Peaceful Provocation for slowing the enemies. Just so much better. And Equinox's strength buff is making it affordable, and then we also get to keep main. The whole thing is just better this way. Also sneeze. Equinox could do with various bits of love. I am cooling off on the idea of double modding for her, because it more comes down to what the abilities are designed to work with. When you look at some of the complicated kits that we have been given these days on various frames and abilities, and they only get one set of modding and it works. Yeah. What happens if you add Melee Kareen? You freeze the enemy solid. They go from 95% slow to 100%. Yeah. So modding's a good compromise. Honestly, Equinox needs a little bit more of a review is the problem. If they go over her kit and still come to the conclusion that she'd work best with double modding, hooray! Sure, why not? Go for it. But I feel like that should probably be an option of last resort. We see it with Severgolf, and Severgolf's two forms, that he transforms from one to the other. part of that is that Sevgov also massively changes his base stats and overall gameplay. I don't know that Equinox changes her gameplay that much between forms. Like, yeah, you might go, Ken, you off your rocker? Night form puts enemies to sleep. Night form reduces enemy damage. Night form is about healing. But the main gameplay is either interacting with the enemies or just killing the enemies normally, and your abilities do things passively around that. Day form, you interact with the enemies with your 2, you give yourself passive buff with your 3, and you passively interact with damage dealt with your 4. It's the same gameplay loop. Yeah, we'll see how that comes together. Gonna sneeze. Oh, I had just enough time to say I was going to there. Oh god. Whew. Thank you all. Got to say it's not realistic to expect big mechanical changes for a toucher. Pablo couldn't stop at apologise for the tech he required on his last frames already. Well, the thing is that once they have the tech, they can just re-implement it. So that I don't agree on. If it does come down to Equinox works better with a dual modding setup, Sevgov has existed for so long, we now also have a Prime. And we now also have Sirius and Orion on the horizon. So I don't take that as an acceptable, they can't do it. But even beyond that, what I've seen so far for Equinox is that she's more hamstrung by the abilities not synergizing, not translating very well when you transform, and having so many tapering or capped effects, just stopping her from reaching anything interesting. Metamorphosis drains its stat buffs over time. That's no good. That's just no good. I'm not sure if there are thresholds on Rest and Rage to worry about, so I'll pass over that for a moment. But on Pacify and Provoke, we know that the damage reduction, the damage mitigation, I guess? Power mitigation? Whatever. The damage reduction applied to the enemies shooting us. We need a different phrase for that, but that is less effective at longer distances. That's a tapering effect. Why is it there? And on Mend and Maim, Maim's explosive output at the end tapers off over distance. And as I was pointing out, there's also different breakpoints. So the maximum is on this build. Yeah, the maximum strength to get full effect out of day form on this is 250%, but the maximum strength to get full effect out of day form's augment is only 200% strength. Different thresholds on the exact same ability, doing the same thing of giving you strength. It's a weird place to put the caps. Weirder still when you realize what that cap is. They chose to make it different, and that difference is missing out on 7.5% strength. I genuinely cannot see a world in which Equinox having access to 7.5 more points of strength to hand out to a team would be in any way game breaking. I just can't. But that's the cap they applied. It's weird. So yeah. And considering this is stuff that's going back to literally 2015, or in the Augments case, how far back was it for the Augments? 2016. We're looking at stuff a decade out of date. Our dev team was much more cautious. It was literally a different game then. Like, there's no way to mince our words on it. It was literally a different game. Oh, congrats, Zorro. Welcome to the MR30 Club. Yeah. The game that Equinox was introduced into doesn't exist anymore. Theoretically, it's there, and you can forcibly engage with it if you wish to, but the vast majority of gameplay we engage with does not look like what Warframe did way back then. The power level of other options we have access to, the expectations as to the consistency of those options, the interactions we get used to, it is all completely different, not to mention the level scaling. Level scaling, armor, all of those interactions have been overhauled. What was the highest level mission that existed when Equinox was introduced? She was introduced in Update 17, which is, let me see here, Echoes of the Sentient. New quest, Natar, oops, wait, not quite ready, it'll be deployed as soon as it is. So this is how far back it is. We're looking at just prior to the introduction of the Natar quest. That's how far back we're going. When did arbitrations get added to the game? Arbitrations were added 3 years later in 2018. Sorties! When were they added? They were added also 2015, but they were in December 2015 in Update 18. So Equinox was added before even sorties existed, and sorties have been overhauled since as well. Damn. Yeah, that's how far back it is. She literally exists for a different game. Completely. And the levels back then would have meant that armor would have been largely unimportant. And so main would have absolutely carved through them. Valkyrie existed before Equinox, only touched up recently. Yeah, but then Caliban also got a complete rework before even the Prime came out. So you really had more touch-up than Equinox has had since release. Various frames in that position. The age of them doesn't dictate the order they get sorted, but it calls out just how long Equinox has been just Equinox. Luke's saying, what do you think about making men give something else when triggering so we can use all the accumulated damage? Like armor or anything else? Honestly, I think that having the amount of healing on there kind of go to waste is demonstrative of that old form, yeah. So you just miss out on the built-up capabilities, and it's what encourages people to just hard camp main. There is the energy transfer augment to attempt to fix that, but even then, if you spend on the healing, you spend all of it. Yeah. What that excuse me, what that would look like after a retouch, I'm not going to get into that, because that could be a veritable infinity of options. I prefer to address frames as they exist. It can convert into armor, it can convert into armor, it could not spend the healing beyond what's required, it could only partially expend it, some other calculation, it could still apply it into damage, they could refactor the ability entirely, they could give it a loot boost, they could give you a speed boost, they could give you a damage boost, they could give you anything. Literally anything. It could be anything. But the biggest point is taking away that it currently doesn't. And that's the problem. That is the problem. Armor boost, yeah. Again, one of infinite ideas. But honestly, this is the difficulty of talking about, oh, how should a frame change? We have no agency in this. None. We can state what we dislike to DE and ask them if they could change things around it. We have zero control over the changes they implement. If you want to see an example of that, pop over to YouTube and have a look at my one small change two-parter. Because I went through and proposed literally a small change, or as small as I could reasonably make it while still being notable, to every single Warframe that was in the game at the time. One small change. Almost every single one of them hasn't been implemented. Some of those frames have been changed in other ways, some more significant ways, so needed more than a small change, and some changes have kind of skirted close to the concept, but largely it points out that, you know, they're just going to do their own thing. We can only really give the feedback of it good or it not good is our prime feedback and implementation system. Plasma Storm, thank you very much for the 8 months of support, all in a row, no less. Much appreciated. I hope you're doing well today. I hope you're indeed doing well. So, this Gloom setup, I've basically taken it back to how I had it, and honestly it still works. The only other change of note is that corrosive projection is more important and valuable these days for MAME's sake, so that instead of enemy radar is probably worthwhile. You don't have the innate radar to know if everything's in range of MAME, excuse me, but then you can easily get that from companions, so not a concern. And the extra duration marking concentration, that needs a little bit of working in to make it happen, but at minimum for Gloom, you cast this and then that should have an effect. I'll need to test to see if that effect is continuous. Because if it's not continuous, I might just drop it. If it doesn't snapshot the bonus. Because, well, yeah, if it doesn't on a drain ability, then that's no good. But that's going to need testing to be certain. So, Team Kill. Team Kill should still just work as is. The problem is that I need to remove a shard to utilize it. Is there anyone here who doesn't know how Equinox can Team Kill? I'm sure many of you, but I just want to see a quick show of hands in the chat, as it were. How many of you don't know how Team Kill can kill? If joint still initiates a bond mod for channeling? A bond mod for channeling. I think we went over this last time and I got really annoyed at some people not talking about it thoroughly. When channeled ability is active, companion melee attacks do shockwave. Damage dealt by companion increase ability efficiency by 3% for 12 seconds, max 10 stacks. Okay, yeah, so I remember the issue we had last time. Someone was suggesting it's for an invisibility build. This isn't invis. So yeah, you could put this onto your companion. So long as this allows all damage rather than just melee damage, it's a very versatile one. But yeah, that's just one of many sources of efficiency. Radproc? Not Radproc, no. So the way that Team Kill Equinox works, I'm going to have to take off my shard to really demonstrate this. It's a shame. We'll bring it back later. The way this works is really quite something. I just swap the auras around to forcibly activate power donation in the arsenal. This right here is the effect. You go into a mission in night form and you activate Pacify. Simple as that. You just put this aura around yourself, pacifying the enemies. And that's it. That's all you do. Normally, at base it gives a 0.5 times damage multiplier to enemy damage, meaning they deal half damage. With our strength at 10%, it gives them a 5 times multiplier to damage. So if you go into a mission where your allies are expecting to tank level 30 or whatever enemies, they're suddenly taking damage for a much higher equivalent. 5 times the damage is coming out of those enemies. 5 times! Now, weirdly enough, this shouldn't affect Xmas units, so Xmas units will not be any stronger than normal because of their overguard. But yeah, this is the team kill, because you don't need to shoot them. And that makes it all the more sinister. You just sit there, oh so kindly, hiding in the invisibility of Quiver. That's why it's on there. You hide in Quiver and watch the enemies go and shoot all of everyone else. Shall we see if this still works, chat? Shall we see if some people get a little bit more downs than they would expect. Now I can also contribute main, so I can be part of the mission still, absolutely. I'll get plenty of kills and they'll think me amazing to help out in that way. But, what our team of Equinoxes? I don't know if it stacks, to be honest. And Spectres will not inherit your strength. Not this time, Mirrorlade. No. We need unsuspecting people. Not people who know how to clear missions and not die. Sorry. We need the unsuspecting. Is this evil? Yes. Any further questions? Hold on, we do actually need to, hit a squad. There might be more people over at Hydron. Let's try Hydron. Ah, wonderful. Right then, let's see. Oh yeah, you're leveling. The Sevagoth might be problematic. They might have a nuke build. Let's see. I'm trying to find somewhere where we're going to have a lot of people. That's why we're on this one.
The enemy is at our doorstep.
Alright, cool. So, let's just activate our buff. Hell yeah. 2% strength bonus for the entire team. Yes! But we want to be in... Wait, oh shit, yeah. I made a mistake. I need to abort. Sorry, everyone there. Good luck. I need to switch the... What's it called? Emissive, because I can't switch form. Here we go. I need that to be... Is that night form or day form? I think that's night form. Why it doesn't have the name, I don't know. Yeah, so that is day form. So that is night form. If ever there was a need for just having a goddamn label. Okay. Let's just join a different squad. Okay, we'll cancel that and try again. There we go. Cool. Didn't have enough time to see who we've got. Let's see when we load on in. I'm seeing fancy ships here. I'm not expecting people to struggle. Oh, that's a legendary 6 and a legendary 4 with a vault. No one's dying. Sorry, chat. No one's dying this one. We do have an MR8 in here, but they're a Wukong. No one's dying on this one. I'm gonna position myself as best I can with my invis, of course. But I mean, look at the damage. Look at the triggers happening around. Everyone's gonna be fine. DJ Busternut, the Wukong, is doing plenty fine. Oh, no, they're taking a few hits there. They're taking a few hits. I just gotta hide because I have no tank. But yeah, no, we've got a little bit of a too powerful squad here. Just a little bit too powerful. And also, yeah, my fourth ability is actually going to be restorative. We don't want restoration right now. You think defense style will die? It's not even broken the shields because the squad's too strong. The squad is too strong. We need basically a bunch of lower tier players for this to work. Survival at this level is just too good. Survival at this level is just too good. I mean, look at that. It's just... Volt go burr. We're on the... We're not on... Uranus doesn't have one like this. No, you're thinking Saturn or Sedna, and this is Sedna. Yeah, I might as well stop being a Muppet and contribute. Oops. Oh, I didn't even get that kill. My punch through It doesn't work when I don't have armor. Yeah, I'm just going to contribute because they weren't dying to it. Too strong. Might as well get it over with. Get us out of here. Find a new group. Alright, cool. That's just going to tick for the next 10 seconds, because that's how it goes. Yes, how dare my evil plans be thwarted by,
That's the last of them. Objective is secure. Let's
Ah,
move
yes.
on.
Ponty Axeman and Ambient Warlord. Doing their best to keep DJ Busternut alive. So what's your Archon Hunt? Usually filled with people who can overpower the hell out of it. Remember, this is only a 5 times damage multiplier, y'all. 5 times damage multiplier. Which has 0 effect against Revenant, 0 effect against Invis frames, 0 effect against Shield Gate frames, 0 effect against people who kill everything before they even see it. It's... I mean, if it was capable of consistently team killing, by virtue of damage buffing, it'd have been removed from the game. I'm not the first person to come up with this. What do we have? We have an MR7, 9, and 20. What are they equipped with? I will never know. Apparently. But this should be sufficient to create some more friction. We'll see how well they do. The buff is active. The invis is on. Let's see those hit points. Well, at least they're not all instantly dying. The enemies, that is. So, maybe... Again, I can't buff Xmas units, so the ones that survive are not the ones I can buff. At least whilst they have Overguard. The Cryopod is taking a bunch of damage. I might need to shoot at least something so I don't look like a complete leech. Just gonna find a couple enemies here or there that I can just take out a little bit. So they don't need to know. I have no idea what this guy is doing, but okay. It's spawn a wolf beacon? No. Oh, Dante has figured out he can give us all Overguard. It's all Ogre. It's all Ogre. I can shoot off the Overguard and the Xmas. I don't think you understand just how much damage I do. I can't just shoot off the Overguard of Xmas units. I didn't bring baby weapons. I brought weapons. They shoot. They kill. Cryopod suffering a fair bit. I mean, it has taken a few hits, honestly, yeah. It has taken a few hits, partly from someone not doing anything to help. But yeah, no signs of any true weaknesses in our team here at this point. I'm going to keep the aura up. It's the Cryopod's taking yet more damage. Yeah, one of the bullets hit that Xmas and just it evaporated. Too strong. How about that little void mission? If we can find people there to get memed on, sure. That'll be Mott. I think Belanus. Annie in the void, I think, is another one. Do they want to continue? They want to continue. Let's see if we can get the Cryopod dead. As the levels go up, let's see if we can get the Cryopod to die. Not that I'm actively trying to get it to die. It's more that, you know, I am observing Tenno in their natural habitat with a nightmare modifier equipped called the Kengineer. I'm not losing the mission. I just might not be contributing everything to make us win the mission. I may never know. I mean, They might figure it from my lack of kills, although someone's got even lower kills than me, so, you know. I am disguised. Cryopod is really struggling now, actually. Ah, Clevo's come in to save the day. That AoE will help out the Cryopod a chunk at this level. Yeah, oh. No, yeah, no, they're still going to work on it. Stand over here, I think there's more enemies this side, make sure the buff reaches them. It definitely does, but we're making sure. Yeah, I think the Cryopod has regenerated some health, all told. Oh, host migration! Huh? Okay. Someone was struggling a little bit too much to play the game.
Our position has been compromised.
Alright, well, we'll just reactivate our
Reinforcements arrived.
hellish effect. Now I can see growing power, Dreamer's Bond. Okay, I shouldn't have a strength that matters. Let's make sure my ability is indeed at its full effect. Yep. That's good. Am I the Cryopod taking damage? No. Given their, they were the one with like 1 kill, I think they were just not really playing. Who knows, they might have actually been just full on leeching and then got disappointed this wasn't a leech squad. Would this work on mind controls? Mind controls not a summon. Not entirely sure I understand. Oh, the Cryopod is healing! The enemies, they're not getting through. Just gonna take out a few of them. Again, got to keep up the appearances. The Cryopod has regained 40% more health than it had earlier. I'm starting to think that people who struggle on Warframe at any point are just not paying attention. Yeah, this ain't happening. Oh well. Grand idea, thwarted by people being at least competent. I'm buffing the mob. Since my control takes over the mob, it will also buff it. I mean, I'm not sure what you're going for there, because I don't think it would still be buffed, because it would be an ally. This affects enemies. And even if it was buffed, it would be dealing more damage to enemies, not team kill. And the whole idea here is this is going to cause damage to allies. Yeah, I'm no longer trying to hide at this point. Just let's wrap this one up. This team is too good. So we need people lower than, what was it, MR8? MR9. We need people with lower than MR9. Oh. Darn. Okay. Well, why people not using Dante? I mean, Dante and Clevo are both doing well there. Dante for the overguard for everyone, Clevo for a big ol' lockdown AoE. Yeah, that first squad might have been perfect, but I just had the wrong setup. I am my own worst enemy. We're going to try one more time at this. One more time at this. Where we will definitely get a squad of people, please. Here we go. MR14 with a Caliban. MR17 with a Gara. No! Oh no! Gara's going to nuke the map! Oh, and I'm host. Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. Yeah, the Caliban and Avara. Avara could have been kind of screwed over by stray shots. They're just like, what? How is that stray shot killing me? But Gara? Unless they don't know how to Gara. We're looking for Nurgle. Where is Nurgle? What is Nurgle up to? Nurgle is not Garaing. Oh, I need to make sure I'm not a victim of my own shenanigans. Okay. So Gara is not doing Gara nuke. on Helene. I mean, there's no wrong way to play, they tell me, but, Let's see. We've got through wave 1. Everyone is fine. There's lots of shields going around. I am slowly regenerating health. No one's buffing up my strength, thankfully. Oh, I heard it. I heard it. Oh wait, no, I heard the damage reduction Nurgle's applying to themselves. Never mind. I thought I heard Vitrify. Just casting an old spot, but no, I didn't. Again, so far so good. I think we just have to accept that Warframe is a very easy game. I think that might be the reality. Yeah. So back to contributing. All right, that's fine. Does that count as my kills? Yes, it does. Okay, that works. That counts as my kills. They'll never know. They'll never know how little I've been doing the entire time. It's very effective. Yeah, team too strong. Oh well. Nobody knows I'm 4 raccoons in a code. I'm just a cheeky little trolling goblin that has been denied the ability to troll because Warframe easy. Cool, I'm out. They can continue if they want to. I'm not going to be following them. I think Galel's trying to pull me over. Didn't work.
We're done here. The extraction team.
Trust me, y'all do not need me in your squad anymore. Not with this loadout. This loadout is pure troll. I can't even use it to be particularly helpful because all I can do is invis and sleep. That's not great on a defense mission. If I was red propped, I mean, yeah. Oh, you were talking to someone else about something. Even then, yeah. Nope, nope, nope. Okay, is this... let's see, what have we got over here? Exterminate people, just blitz through that. Spy mission, doesn't need it in the same way. Excavation. Excavation could do it. One last try. What have we got? ML25 Volt, ML12 Gauss, ML17 Gara. Volt and Gara on an excavation. Damn it, people keep on bringing the right stuff to their missions. How dare they? What happened to all of the random loadouts of crap?
Tenno, I am detecting a synthesis target. Use the synthesis scanner to track the
Alright.
creature.
Buff is active. Enemies are dealing more damage. I need to make sure I don't die for it. Now, these are very low-level enemies, but the idea is not to have them kill the players. The idea is that they'll deal so much damage they'll tear through this. Let's see. Well, it's certainly one of the ideas of all time that I've had. I had a thought. You can't disagree. Why is it in French? What was that? Why was there French on my screen? Game, English only please. It's a rule on the channel. I don't speak French. I don't date Marie. I do not get the French lessons. You usually find random crap loadouts as sortie missions or anything with a fail state. See, we went to a fail state, defense, and people didn't fail. What is that? Gara? What? Wait, is this a... a minimum range Gar? Oh, hello. Corpses falling on my face, alright, as you do. Fine. Oh, okay, you got that. Alright. I have contributed all of nothing. I haven't even contributed trolling. My drifter has not dated any of the Devil's Triumph, no. That has been of no interest. Let's be honest, 2 religious nut jobs and a bastard of the Orokin Empire. Not exactly my idea of a long-term compatibility. No. I'm just gonna roll out. Don't mind me. Roll your Equinox gently through the desert. If you think my singing's bad, tough, it's meant to hurt. There we are, made it rhyme. Oh, okay, I'm gonna watch out for the stray shots. I give up. I give up. What we need is a Speed Nova. Yeah, but at that point you've then got half the squad working together to fail the mission. Rather than just, you know, haha, funny ability, do opposite of what it says. I don't want to go to that extent. That goes from casual trolling to just coordinated dickery. Gotta be a limit to the prankage. And everyone has beaten the threshold. Everyone. Yep. I'm just gonna grab a fish's worth of loot and extract. Might as well start figuring out where the extraction is now then. Is it going to be somewhere down this way? Probably not, but I'm going to check anyway. Nope. A really long tile. Not this way? Nope. Well, that took me 20 seconds for nothing. Hey, extraction is 700 meters that way. I never would have guessed that.
Is ready for you.
Just no chance. Prepare for rage. They'll be like, oh, why are you joining a relic fish? You only need to open 1 relic. Because I got the gold item, I'm good. Yeah. 300 Ducat Blueprint. I definitely earned that. Totally earned it. Lith C4. Oh my god, that is an old relic. Ooh, that's going back a bit. I remember getting those when I was MR2. That is old. Oop, don't fuck this up, foot. Never mind. Oops. My bad. Running away. That was a very old school relic to see pop up. I still have a bunch of them, but yeah. No idea when it got vaulted, but goes back a bit. There we are. Right. Yeah, let's have a look here. Lith C4. If I can spell Lith correctly, I might be able to Google it. Introduced 2018, vaulted in July 2020. There you go. That's how old that relic is that someone brought to this mission. And if you're wondering if it's valuable, no. No. It's got a burst and prime receiver, a Paris prime lower rim, limb, and a Bratton Prime stock in there, so that's 3 already terrible choices. It then also has a former blueprint on the common slot, which, yeah, former, but yeah. Orthus Prime Blade, and then Chroma Prime Neuroptics blueprint. It is not a valuable relic. The entire reason I am familiar with that relic, so standout compared to all the others, is in 2 parts. One, haha, C4. Oh, look, my loot is a bomb. Whatever. And second, it was when I was farming Paris Prime, before realizing that Paris Prime had an MR lock on it. I was like, I enjoy using the Paris. There is an upgraded variant. All I need is to crack relics. Oh. It was in fact not all that I needed to do. Yeah, it's just an old crap relic, and someone is cracking them in public fissures on Mars. Go figure. But yeah, so I think I have demonstrated that team killing as Equinox doesn't really work. For the very simple reason that people are too good at the game. It isn't that challenging. 5 times damage multiplier. 5 times damage multiplier. Did not even move the needle. At most, there was a cryopod taking a bit of damage. That was it. I don't want to hear shit about people having difficulty in Warframe, at least on Star Chart, when a 5 times damage multiplier didn't change the outcome. Oh, I'm actually kind of tempted to just keep on pushing it and see if there's somewhere we can break someone. What do we got? Anything? Conjunction Survival has some nasty twists. Live on Earth. 2 low-level enemies. They die by breathing on them. I think low-level is the wrong way to do it. We need to go the other way around. We need to go where people may turn up prepared for their experience, not prepared for a 5 times experience. They think they're prepared. Whereas at low levels, you literally just bullet jump next to an enemy, they die. Gotta remember, I'm not giving them hit point buffs, only damage buffs. So it's either that or somewhere over here. Am I going to find many people over here? Let's find it. No, no one's there. Oh shit, there was someone here. Okay, right, well. You have a friend. You don't. You don't have a friend. Oh, it's a Nova. Oh, if they slow things down, then they slow things down. But if they speed them up. I'm going to help capture the points. Yep. I don't know if we haven't done that. Oh, it's basically the first place we went. Wonder how the math works with T4 Void? I hope it's not additive. If it's multiplicative... Oh, that does get fun, doesn't it? Alright, so we have captured the points. I'm going to contribute to maintaining the mission flow. Yeah, I'm not an arsehole. Oh, but yeah, Nova is slowing them. It's a slover. Oh, no. Of all the frames I could be matched with today, I'm matched with a slover. Ooh, I was saying this. Did you see my shields evaporate? Level 42. Shields be gone. Yes, definitely need to maintain my own protection. And hopefully Nova can figure herself out. There's another slover field. Could just go operator? Well, that's not fun, is it? Also, my frame would then eventually become exposed, has an aura on, so would not have damage immunity, and then eventually would just get shot and die because of the damage bonus I'm currently giving to the enemies. Yeah. You're doing great, Nova. You've brought the right kit for the mission. Proud of. Oh well. Yeah. Turns out it's actually really hard to troll in this game with simple damage buffs. If you want to troll, use Limbo. Oh, Froggy Boyo has joined the squad. What is Froggy Boyo bringing? A Necros. Interesting. Damn, didn't realize I was using this Equinox build. Killing that many enemies in a row without even moving my aim is kind of sad. Not gonna lie. I'm just gonna put them to sleep. And shoot the Aximus. Alright, I'm canning this one. Again, it is a positive thing, you know? If it were easy to cause people to just perish en masse by bringing a simple, low-strength Equinox, it would be problematic for the game. I think we can all agree on that, right? Equinox being able to activate ultra-hard mode on a whim would be a problem. It's just, I didn't expect it to have literally no discernible effect. This is too far from where people go without preparation? Oh, I don't know, I agree on that. People can end up in all kinds of places without really knowing what's going on. They might even end up in positions of major political power, let's be real. So, you know. We've all come across the Muppets who kind of run around as Revenant and don't seem to understand anything but fire. But yeah, I think at this point we can be pretty certain there is no consistent result from this. That was just dud after dud. Alright, cool. That's fine. Equinox with your ugly pink coloration to enable that to happen can go away. Back to, it wasn't even pink, it was purple, but it was coming up as pink. That's even worse. Back to that. There we go. Much better. Oh, there, Drew. Welcome on in. Still, the trappings of the setup are there. It's just... reminding myself, what does this get to? This was 70%, so it's 270% total strength. Yeah, that is not quite full gloom, I think, but it's pretty close. 94.5% slow. Yeah, that's good enough. Once you get the full effect out of Provoke. Or just, you know, use the focus cool buff. Yeah. Let's join the stream. What's the TLDR of what you're working on? Equinox. So, we verified the sleep build. We did a load of this on previous stream. This is certainly doing everything that it needs to for itself. This is sad. Gold command's been pulled through, so yeah, there we go. So that then brings us to duality. Now, duality, if we don't use energy transfer, we will be swapping forms and losing any usability out of Bend and Main. But putting both on is expensive. Because that's 2 of your 8 mod slots. Excuse me. To achieve that. This is Precision Intensify, which I don't think is remotely necessary. What was I doing with that? I can't fit that there, but let's see. So this is giving us a duality. Damage multiplier does not seem to be affected by strength. Damn, we really don't get anything as Equinox, do we? Duality... Let's see. Damage output of Spectre is not affected by strength. Huh. So another low strength, high range setup then. To just go with maximum sleepage and maximum maim. Yeah, that seems to be the way. In which case then, fuck you. Not really any good place to move these things because none of them match any of these polarities. D and V. More range is just... more range can fit on that. That works. You might be wondering why not more duration. Honestly, more duration isn't a terrible shout for this, all told, because it's only 15.5 seconds. But I was looking at the idea of comboing it with still rest being useful and main being useful. Maybe that's a good idea, maybe that's a bad idea. Honestly, hard to say at this point. There's not really room to force in narrow-minded to switch down on range and up on duration without dropping rolling guard. I don't really want to do that. That gives us more duration while shields are active. That does bring it up a little bit, but actually we've got Arcane Concentration now, which is just a better option on us for that. We just use any ability first, which basically just going to be rest and rage at any point. Then we swap. It increases the effective swap cost to 35 energy. But the result is we add an extra 60% duration to this, so 21.5 seconds. That's not too shabby. Ish. Okay. Let's run a exterminate mission. Seeing how that fares for us. Let's just get an idea. Okay, so first things first, we want to buff into swap, which gets its duration bonus. Look at it go, 21 seconds duality, isn't it fun? Activate this as well. Ah yes, you can't use Incarnans. Awesome, what was that? Okay, fair enough, the damage on this is unstacked and bad at the moment. I did switch the damage type! I'm getting tired of seeing Blast. Let me do this correctly. That gun does not want a Blast build. Wrong button. Right, you. Corrosive. There we are, much better. Corrosive heat. Oh god, that's part of why my damage has been struggling. Okay, this makes a hell of a lot more sense now. I had it set for Lavos and Lavos only. Did not think about that. Literally the entire stream makes a lot more sense to me now. Okay. Just been running around Steel Path missions with functionally no arcane equipped. As you do. Alright, we swapsies. There we go. We got our thing. Let's just put some enemies to sleep. Just get us started. Alright. I know it fires faster than that. Okay, we can hear the fire rate there. Duality. Where the... What the... Where are... That's a little bit of a dramatic de-summoning, don't you think? No enemies to cast, so I can't do that. I can cast this into this instead. Right. You are shitting me. What the fuck is that? Oh, finally! Finally you figured out how to goddamn hit them. What are you doing? Aim and fire. I must go, my planet needs me. Okay, my aim is not much better apparently, but whatever. The point is, duality is supposed to at least do something. Murder. Why are we doing burst, 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 burst? I know it's a burst weapon. You don't need to fire the bursts in bursts. This is genuinely painful. Is this how bad Wukong is? Sorry, I'm obviously this is a complete wash. There's no point even continuing to be here. What's going on with this? Right, Wu Clone. Yeah. Was it for health multiplier and boosted damage? Oh, if you command it. Yeah, yeah. I forgot about that. Okay, let's just... Another chance? Like, for such a precision weapon, to see those sprays was... painful. Okay, Wu Clone. I'm going to switch to my melee. Let's get the damage bonus on here, shall we? Let's get it started. Also, it's not going to have the 3 times damage bonus that Duality gets, but I can at least... I think it uses the modding of the weapon. Oh, well, there goes that one. Hold on. Just summon a new one. I want to know why the bullets are going here. Why? Why here? What was happening over there that needed to be shot at? I'm just going to put it out there. The reason D probably have done nothing to improve AI aiming is because people will actually just straight up AFK farm missions. And I hate that. Were this a single player game without trading, you know that the summons will be far better than this. You know it in your heart. They would be far better. Oops, I died. Okay, this to me just kills duality. I don't care if there's some weapons which work with it. The build is there. It's conceptually sound, but what the fuck is that? Then they expect it to stop attack if you AFK too long? Yes, but people can AFK without AFKing. I'm not going to go into details because that is encouraging people to exploit the game, but basically, there are people that do the bad stuff, yeah. Now you worry for serious and Orion AI? At least they'll cast abilities. So there's that. Anyway, I'm going to get a quick refill of water because I'll be honest, I need extra hydration today than I've had. So I'm going to be back in just a moment, chat. Don't you go anywhere. We'll have some more Equinox in a moment. Let's make sure Equinox is on screen. We don't want someone joining and going, "Where's the Warframe?" No, there we are. BRB chat. Alrighty, we're back. Wonder if D made some improvements that did mention to the Spectre AI. We'll see how it comes together. We'll see. Yeah, we could be pleasantly surprised. It could be that they'll work amazingly and feel strong and solid. It could be that I've just picked a really, really bad weapon for testing with here, with Burston, honestly. It could just be crap. In fact, let's switch off of it. Let's give Duality the Latum and see what happens. Just to be fair and try things out. Let's give it a Latum approach, because the Latum is pretty damn strong. It takes effort. Effort to be bad with a Latum, right? Right. What's the limit on credits? Yeah, I think it is just shy of a... Yeah, just shy of 1 billion. Although technically you can get it slightly higher. Technically. Okay. That into this to create a long duration on you. Let's pop over here. Put these things to sleepsies. Alright. Duality. Up here, please. This isn't even a what? Oh, she's so bad. Oh, you can shoot them, can you? Why are you only level 98? I think it's as soon as she knocks them over, she just doesn't have any idea that it happens. She's just... But this is a fundamental part of her kit. I've given them all damage vulnerability to help her out. Help me out, please. Oh god. Well, there she goes. I don't know why she has anti-gravity on death, but... you go, I guess. Kinda. Alright, we're back. Pop. Now, I've got the Incarnon form activated. If I switch now... No Incarnon. That's what I expected, but still. Yeah. Places generally work better with beams and AoE rifles? Pretty much. It's just frustrating. We can't even hand them some of our best gear because they just don't know how to use it. But let's see how well she does with this. Let's just see. Okay, so buff into swap into that, and then I'm going to put all the things down here to sleep for our safety because she's not that good at killing. She's finally killed that. Come on down. Alright, fire from the higher... What is that jitter? It's trying to emulate bad aim, and I just don't like it. Oh no. That's what I said. Oh no, that aim is so bad it actually hurts to watch. Oh, and she's gone. So, people wondering why WooClone enjoyers use the Tenet Envoy so much. I think we found our answer. Spectres literally don't know what the fuck they're doing. Oh boy. Go on. Watch this be the one thing that works well. That. Oops. I didn't mean to make you faster. There we are. You don't need to reload. You fired like 2 rockets. You don't need to reload. You don't need to reload. Oh my god. Ah! She reloaded 3 times in 5 rockets and then despawned. You spent more time jiggling your gun than using it. Ah! That's so bad. That is so bad. I'm done. I'm done. That's it. That build is dead to me. Oh, this is going to be a very sarcastic video. Oh boy, what about we build a code? No. What about anything else? This is diabolical. I don't care if any other weapon works. We've now gone through 4 of the most powerful weapons in the game to hand to a Spectre, and she's failed at every single step. With the hyper-precise Burston, failed. With the extremely powerful Latum, failed. With the totally precise beam weapon of the Tenet Glaxion, failed. And now with the Tenet Envoy, failed. That's not just slightly bad. This is diabolically bad. I have one remaining solution of concern, which is, can she at least use a goddamn knife? That's all I'm going to ask of them at this point. Can she at least use a knife, or will she try to reload that? Come on, Equinox. Where is she? Help. Ow. Ow. Alright, cool. Chicken knife. Equinox is apparently from London. Come on. Yep, there we go. That's the damage boost you're looking for. We'll just form swap. Add on the main to enjoy the benefits of that, and look at her go. No. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay. Oh, my bad. Yeah, still have no defense. There we go. I'm back. I'm alive. It's fine. News of my death has been greatly exaggerated. But yeah, if you take away all of the guns, Equinox will resort to knife. Oh, the swapping meaning I lose in my sleep ability half the time is annoying. It takes so long to transform. No. Need you to sleep, please. Thank you. Swap! Swap again, because I want sleeps. Oh, that's gonna hurt. There we go. Yeah, I'm babysitting the hell out of this Duality Spectre. Nice. Now over here. Come on. No. Okay, I mean, you can shoot it.
We've decided you're bad
Bro.
for business.
Me? I'm the one that's bad for business? She's the one you want to get. Oh god, she's not going to survive in that, is she? Yeah, let's beat him up. Good luck. Oh god, she got obliterated. Yeah, nope. Nope, 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 nope! No. No. There is no rescuing this. This is... I think this is used to be the build people talked about on Equinox. Why? I guess if the enemies have so little damage, you don't need to control them in any slight way, but then at that point, they're weak enough you can just maim everything to death. That was so bad. Like, genuinely, that might have been one of the most disappointing interactions I've ever seen. I don't care if there is a single weapon that is supposedly good for it, it just sucks. 2016 augment? Yeah. Oh yeah, everything at Equinox is 2015, except for augments, which is 2016. That's it, that's all you get. But even then, like, did Spectres just forget that they can shoot? Actually, you know what? Thinking about my Warframe history, it's possible they did. When was this? It was like 2021, I want to say? I'd have to double check to find the exact timing. But around that time, there was a change to enemy accuracy. And Warframe Spectres, I think by and large, use enemy-style AI. That change to accuracy was to basically stop them from becoming super death lasers at high levels. Because if you were running an invis frame like Loki, you went out of invis for just a fraction of a second on high levels, the enemies would snap to seeing you and shoot you and you're dead. That's it. Out. Now, we not only have shield gating, we have a delay on them responding to you becoming visible, and they don't have super duper hyper accuracy at higher levels. It just doesn't go that far. So I do have to wonder, perhaps she's got a combination of those kinds of features, those things that have made enemies less threatening, which has also made her less threatening. In combination with the very clear issue of sleeped enemies falling over and she's shooting at where they would be if they were stood up. That is its own separate issue of just what the hell even. But I do have to wonder if perhaps she has been lobotomized by the enemies, made more manageable at higher levels. What about a weapon with some degree of aim assist? What, you mean like the Tenet Envoy? That she reloaded 3 times in 5 shots? Spent more time reloading before her dying than she did just shooting? It really doesn't matter that there might be some weapons that could be passably kind of slightly okay with her. Her entire AI is shit. She is reloading incorrectly. She is firing incorrectly. She is aiming incorrectly. By that I mean she's basically just not aiming. All of that packaged into a base 10-second duration, whilst also forcing you to swap, losing access to abilities that may be more beneficial in the moment, on a long swap time to cast it. Use Nanarok? No, fuck Nanarok. Even if it works, I think you might have missed everything else I just said there. Iota, welcome on in. You might have chosen a very interesting time to arrive. I am bitching about Equinox. Most notably, I'm bitching about duality, but also the rest of it is a bit, yeah. And before you actively aim and make the rocket fire the marker, they were making it happen. We heard it happen. There was the beeping, there was the targeting laser. The AI was using it, Salvatore. But then all the other issues are happening. You mean a weapon that is homing... okay, Salvatore, I'm going to draw a line on this. I've made my point. You are clearly stuck on the idea of, but what if a homing weapon could somehow save Equinox from the fact that the majority of the time this is bad? It turns out that a polished turd, no matter how far through your arsenal you have to go to find polish, is still a turd. If you are happy with only one or a very small number of weapons working, you live your best life. I can't stop you. You go ahead and equip your duality. The world is your oyster, and your pearl is small and pointless. Enjoy. But this is fundamentally the right trappings of the build, of having the high range energy transfer into duality with all the things they've given us. I can't recommend that to anyone. I genuinely cannot recommend that. If you want to clone, play Wukong. Just go play Wukong. Okay, so this quote-unquote standard build that I have here then, going back to the absolute origins of all of this lot, is a low strength, therefore low buffs, low benefits setup. I think the idea I had on originally designing this was you hard camp the Night form for the defensive benefits. It's only 10 shields on kill, but it still shields. It's shields on kill, you could put enemies to sleep, and then once you built up enough, you use energy transfer, you switch form, bang. Yeah. Currently out filming the Dante build. Started 5 months ago. Hey, welcome on in. Dante is a very powerful frame, yes. Very hard to go wrong with that one. It's why I picked it for a Dante for the win. For the Dante for Arwin 0 to hero. He is a good frame. Now, this has no actual defense in itself. It's got the Augur set, but that is about the extent of it. It is entirely on that ultra range. Put them to sleep. Sneeze on occasion. Pacify and Provoke then has... yeah, no value. We don't want this. This is just bad for this setup. Because we don't need or want the strength bonus during day form. It's bad. And also we have no strength. And during night form, we actually cause the enemies to deal more damage with this, so that is also bad. So, yeah, we're not going to do that. What other thing could she use then? If we're going for a mostly hide under mend and maim, and putting enemies to sleep approach? What subsume is even worth the slot on that? Bright Bonnet, before anyone suggests, is right out, because we need something that's not strength based anyway. That's a no bueno. We've got total crowd control of the enemies, at least where they don't have overguard. I'm not going to say Smite, because one, we got Smite on another build already, so it wouldn't work on the same Equinox, and two, it's just Smite for removing Overguard, and I guess Armor. Eh. Technically, you could put on Evade to lean even harder into the defensive line of things. Not sure you really want to, but you could. You could. God Instinct with the max range. We've already got Control. And, This just heals you, doesn't it? Yeah. That's... no. No, I think that is probably about the limit of it. Oh, I suppose Silence. Yeah, if you got a high range build with no strength, Silence is the answer, isn't it? Especially if you've already got your crowd control covered. Just turn off enemy abilities. Every enemy ability within, what's that going to be, 56 meters just doesn't exist. Brilliant. Yeah, I think that is the subsume of choice here then. Because everything else either requires strength, is crowd control, or is pointless. The only other one would maybe be a mobility with Vile Rush, because that's just kind of funny with high range. That would be about it. So, Silence to shut the enemies up, or Vile Rush to get to extraction. Silence of Orbit for finisher damage. Ooh. Nothing against you doing that, yeah. You might want to use that as a flex on the energy transfer then. Just swap the spot out there. You lose your energy transfer, you gain the absolute Omega finishers. But at that point, you might as well just go for a straight-up sleep build rather than a quote-unquote standard. Orbit works with strength? Right, okay, yeah. Okay, that's a different build entirely then, isn't it? If you need strength, just gotta go a different direction. But still, for just shutting off effects in the area, that works. If I could create a Warframe from scratch, what abilities would I choose? Which passive? What, from existing abilities or something else, Jezia? Yeah, I think the right answer here is Silence. The fun answer is Vile Rush, and all the other answers are not answers. Yep. From existing abilities. Can't say I have a design I'd go for just yet. I'll be quite honest with you. It's not really something I've thought about of just, oh, what if I took the ideal abilities from every frame? Because, like, there's the obvious answers of, oh, well, you just go grab Mesa, use Limbo's passive to put yourself in the rift, and job's a good one. Banshee's Silence, Rhino's Roar. What else do you need? You know, congrats, you're in the rift. Xmas can't cast abilities, so they can't target you. You've got Mace's 4, you just kind of kill everything, you win. But, like, is that fun? I'm not sure that'd be too fun long term. Just jump into Rift. Nothing can touch you. Aimbot. Struggling with a job search? Ooh, yeah, that's not fun. That's not fun. Okay, yeah. Sleep or Vile Rush over that, because that's otherwise useless. This is pure rest. The Rage bit doesn't exist. This would be Shield Gate Restoration rather than full healing, although decast for heals on demand. And otherwise you can energy transfer into Maim to just go bang. And, yeah. Metamorphosis has to stay there for you to energy transfer out of, so that's locked in. And this one's crap. And that is it. That is a standard quote-unquote Equinox build. I don't think there's a thing more you could really do with that. Except for maximum efficiency, because Equinox loves that. She's got no energy economy in her abilities, so being able to just kind of cast everything as cheaply as possible, that's an absolute win. We got the Sleep. We've got the Smite main that we tried out the other day. Great on the Corpus. Not so great on the Infested because of Disruptors and Ancients in general. Terrible against armored targets. Yeah, a little bit limited, but yeah. Oh yeah, Equinox's passive just doesn't exist. That's so bad. As far as passives go, this might be one of the absolute worst. I know there's some which are, why is this even here level bad? But even then, this is bad. You pick up a health orb, a 50 health orb. They didn't used to be 50 health, they used to be 25. So they're double strength since this was created. And you still only get 5 energy. With maximum efficiency, that's not even enough to cast Rest and Rage. This is so much worse than Equilibrium that it is just the first 2 letters. You're just going, Ek. I don't know if it's even really that thematic. Like, the conversion from one to the other are only 10%. Equinox isn't switching forms for just 10%. You want something thematic for Equinox? A passive that activates on swapping from ranged weapons to melee weapon, or just swapping from weapon to weapon. Something connected to Vigorous Swap kind of style, or if there's some kind of stat boost. Something connecting to swapping weapons. That would be thematic. She's actively swapping forms. She's swapping the form of attack in combination with swapping the form of herself. That's a passive. This just doesn't exist. Kind of like Kome but active? Yeah. Kome encouraged you to switch weapons because she's giving you some random status outputs which her kit kind of connects in with, and also just, you know, random go burr. This would be more of a, the whole point is you are Queen of Metamorphosis. You swap between forms because you are a dual existence. Now that I write it on the normal one, they go, Equinox rises from the edge of day and night. Sure. That's what an Equinox means. Her day form offers offensive support, while her night form offers defensive support. She thrives between realms. Now. If you look at passives like Proteus, where you get just so much strength on meeting a multicast condition, they could lean into the offensive and defensive supports, such as in day form, give a team buff to damage based on damage you deal. In night form, give a team buff to damage reduction based on damage the team takes, which would then lean into the offensive and defensive supports in different forms. There are so many different ways they could take it. And as I mentioned earlier on this very stream, we could come up with an infinite number of alternatives, because what doesn't exist is infinitely larger than what does exist, but we can all agree that what does exist is just bad. If this passive vanished tomorrow, only the wiki would notice. That's how bad it is. It'd be better if she had day and night affinity for open worlds. It would be more thematic. I don't know if I would call that better. No. Why didn't they name it Twilight if that's a description? Your guess is as good as mine on that one, Skelly. Your guess is as good as mine. She's the balance between night and day, for they are the same length. I don't know. I mean, yeah, if this passive was stat buffed, then people would love the hell out of it. If that was 50%, hell yeah. 50% conversion would actually be worthwhile. It would give her energy economy. Above and beyond just, you know, the default starting point. But again, the point is that whatever change, it needs a change. You know, like, this is called Metamorphosis instead of Dusk and Dawn. Honestly, I see it. You've got name and name, name and name, name and name, and this is just Metamorphosis. Yeah, they could have dreamed a little more on that one, you're right. Dusk and Dawn will be a brilliant name for that. Oh well. You feel like Equinox's passive should be pre-rework Eclipse? Ugh. We do not speak of pre-rework Eclipse. How dare you bring that demon into this house? Think of the shame you cast upon us. No. I specifically campaigned for the change that we have. I called for it for years, and finally, after all of our avenues were exhausted, Dee relented and acknowledged that it just didn't work. They finally understood. I would say, did love the pre-rework Eclipse, did not understand the problem with it. I mean, aside from the obvious problems of light and dark being very subjective situations, the fact that the buff would vary based on the light level you're in, so you wouldn't even get full buff a lot of the time, that it would lie to you about the buff you were getting, and also to acknowledge that your settings would change the buff you would get. That I could demonstrate changing my settings, just graphical settings, and getting a different damage buff. No. That is not okay. There is a reason that is just gone. That was just... You remember all the spots where you got the best damage buff and used it there? Mirror Lab? Something we already know. You are an exceptional part of the Warframe community. And if it takes someone being exceptional to find use in an ability, consistent use, it's not good. So, congratulations. You are a better student of old Eclipse than the majority. Enjoy the accolade. But yeah. Old Eclipse and this passive can both go the way of the dodo was. One's already gone, we'll sink the other. Alright. Too ambitious for a live service game, updates and graphics and lighting all the time. That and just, they didn't really set them up with predetermined zones. They just kind of let the engine figure it out. That's not how you do it. Ask a graphic designer if they would be happy with just letting the colors of their work be printed out with whatever your computer feels like it interprets it as. Whatever your screen settings are, that'll be fine. There is no graphic designer on the planet who would be happy with just whatever the consumer's screen settings are. That'll be good enough. To do that kind of design for an ability like that was always going to fail. Always. And it did. Alright. I am at the point where I am rambling in circles. We've kind of exhausted the majority of what Equinox has to show for us there. In fact, to confirm that point, we've got, what, 164 people here in chat right now? Granted, 164 people watching, so about 10 of you in chat. Point is, is there some aspect of Equinox you think I have not yet explored with you? The general effectiveness of maim, we've been over that. The effectiveness of rest, and I've previously covered just how good that is in animal captures. We've covered using the strength to tie straight into gloom to get the benefits there. The team buff effect is, who cares? We've been over team kill and demonstrated that people are just too damn good at the game. So it just, it works, except for the bit where it doesn't. We've gone over duality and just how duality is so bad that it might as well not exist. It's not even immortal. It only lasts for 10 seconds multiplied by duration, and it's not even immortal. It's so bad. And the standard go-to main-focused approach and what you should assume there. How useless is the heal from Equinox if you have 25 million heal stored? That's not useless. That's a full heal for you and everyone in the team. And that's it. Yeah. One heal? 100% heal, but yes. So is there anything anyone can see that I may have missed covering on Equinox? Anything we've not gone over, need to address? Any interactions as part of a kit that needs to be otherwise considered? Because I think we might be at about all of it. I think this might be about all of it. And this isn't to say she's got nothing. Like, we have still got a go-to energy transfer build. I'm going to change that from standard. It's not really standard, it is energy transfer. That is the core focus, is to utilize that, and the rest is, okay, so what can we do if we're using that? And that becomes this. I don't have enough characters for this. So we'll do energy transfer plus range. That'll do. Just so we're clear on what the focus is there. Maximizing the range, therefore losing the strength, still getting the value of maim, still getting the value of rest. We got the way to swap between it for energy transfer, so we also get the value of mend, and this just dies. The sleep build is solid, it works, you've seen it in action, go for it. Honestly, this can also be used as a sleep build, so do so, I guess. This is rolling guard, this does not. You could put rolling guard instead of the duration. Live your best life. Yo, Mirrorly, thank you very much for gifting a sub over there to Luke Mackay. Much appreciated. Hope the round say thank you very much for that. Oh. Cheers, Mirrorly. Been over this one. Works great against Corpus. Everywhere else less good, but great against Corpus. Been over this one. Actually just diabolically strong, but that's because Gloom is Gloom. The only thing Equinox is really achieving here is, one, being able to apply 70% extra strength without needing to mod it. Technically, this is modding it, so... And then, two, you can combine it with maim. That's pretty much it. It's not really a lot of Equinox, and it's much more just Gloom go burr. So yeah, she's got builds. I just can't say that amazing. Cool, alright. That's all the thoughts then. What's the day effect of Peaceful Propagation do? The day effect is you get more strength. Having done enough damage to enemies, it goes all the way up to a maximum of 30% extra strength. Yeah, that's it. That is all you get. So with this setup here, you get a total of 70% extra strength, which you can apply to Gloom to bring it to 94.5% slow. That's what you get. Just more strength. It's inspired. Yep. If I put Bright Bonnet on here, it would only be 40% as standard, 80% if you are Berserk it. But it also give you energy. But at least this works on the go. So Bright Bonnet is largely just stronger. It has a much higher cap. It has a synergy for just double effect. It will give you back energy. It doesn't have an energy tax on giving out the strength. The trade-off being you haven't got the pacify effect at all, and using a subsume slot, which we can't stack with Gloom, that's a big deal, you gotta note. And it's locked to a fixed area, so if you're on the move, you're recasting constantly. Whereas this just follows you. So Bright Bonnet is largely better. If Provoke and Just Provoke was a subsumable ability, this would probably never get used. Or very limited, but yeah. At least the good thing is it should stack with Anoko in the party, so you can get both. Any rage build? Oh, the rage ability is not great. I think this is... Yeah, this one is using rage for rage. And that's because when you've got the strength applied, so you've got the strength from this, 31%, bringing you up to 286. So then you have the Archon Shard to get you the rest of the way. Yep. 286 plus the Archon Shard. You apply total of 100% damage and vulnerability to make the smite. And so the smite will one-shot targets. Most of the time, targeting a group of enemies with damage and vulnerability up to like 100 odd %, because you don't want to go too high strength on Equinox. Up to like 100%, but also make them 40% faster. There's not really a good reason to do it. Especially as you'll be constantly casting it on new clusters of enemies. It's not like Nova, who just makes an entire room of enemies faster for clearing a wave quicker. It is just targeting a bunch of them to make them more threatening, but also easier to kill. Shade for Invis? Yeah. Because it's a full caster build. You use the dog? Yes. Shade is a stand-in for companion that makes you invis. There's only 2, so easy to figure out. But yeah, outside of the damage vulnerability for breakpoint based stuff, the simple truth is that you don't really want to apply it like that, because 100% damage vulnerability, they're taking double damage, so it's like you've got a double damage bonus, and double damage bonuses are pretty nice where you can get them. Raw at standard on a subsume is only 30%, but we're getting the double damage from 200% strength there, so that is 60% off a subsume draw. A non-subsume on Rhino is already 100%, and it's got the extra effects of applying as a continuous aura. Sorry, continuous buff, not continuous aura. Continuous buff to you and your allies, double dipping its effect on status effects, not requiring continuous targeting, that sort of stuff. So Rage is limited in its usefulness because of that. Also so OP that damage and vulnerability doesn't usually matter anyway. There is game balance until you get to late game. This is something that I explored and experienced very thoroughly with the Zero to Hero series. It was honestly a big wake-up call for me in terms of seeing just what the game is like when you know what's going on, but play without being forced through it. Did the camera focus a moment? It might have. It shouldn't, but it might have. But yeah, by playing it through on the Zero to Hero series and seeing the balance, where, okay, early game, melee is just far stronger than guns, but still there is some semblance of balance. Certainly once you get to Saturn, you notice the ramp up in difficulty, the bits where modding really starts to showcase its importance. Also seeing some of the imbalance bits here or there, but there's a definite progression and scope to it. People don't complain about a lack of damage on their builds, etc. for no good reason. There is actual process. It's just, whilst the difficulty line just kind of goes up, the available damage we have goes zip, and the game can't really compete with that. The game doesn't want to compete with that, because if you expect that someone's going to come in with a, say, a 5 million DPS build, then people with 500,000 DPS, which is still pretty good, well, they're just doing 10% of the expected effectiveness. Everything is a slog then. So, the damage vulnerability is great in a 2015 perspective of where that crazy curve hadn't happened. But once you're into late game Warframe, yeah, that just doesn't exist. It just doesn't. How's Glaive Prime doing in the meta? It's fallen down. Because slash procs are now far less valuable than it used to be, as armor is capped at 90% damage reduction, and slash hasn't really been given any benefits, whereas other things like electric has. The Zorus, Falcor, that kind of category of glaives have overtaken it. Mostly because of melee influence. Glaive Prime is still an effective weapon, but its guaranteed slash procs just aren't the raw winner they used to be. Oh yeah, and also when the armor got rebalanced to stop at 90%, enemy hit points were increased to try and mitigate the effects, and so slash procs were actually made even weaker again. Because not just comparatively to the other procs, but also you were literally just dealing less damage percent. 100k damage went from being lethal on a 100k hit point enemy to not lethal because they had more than 100k. It's still effective, it's just definitely not the Omega S tier it used to be. There you are. If you find you're struggling, maybe you want to use Rest and Rage. Apply more damage. Oh dear. Alright then, I think that is about time that we do ourselves a giveaway, because we are definitely over time here. So it is more than time enough to hand out to one of you wonderful people a little bit of extra platinum courtesy of Digital Extremes. So let's get that set up onto here. A good old 75 plat giveaway. Does Rage double dip on DOTs? You know what, I'm going to have to double check on that. I'm going to say no, but I'm going to have to double check on that. That is something I will have to carefully numerically verify later. Alright, is this loading up? It should be. Come on. There it is. Right. Let's kill the background music in general. Let's open up a draw for 75 plat. Exclamation mark enter in the chat for a chance to win that. It is as simple as that. Move the cam out of the way for a moment so you all can join in. Exclamation mark enter into the chat for a chance to win 75 plat. Any one of you can be a winner today. Doesn't matter if you've been here for 5 minutes or the full 3-ish hours. Yeah, we're coming up on 3.5 hours. Is no one going to take the top of the screen? There we go. There's a couple of you up there. I was wondering, what is this? Just everyone's on the lower half of the screen. That was a bit weird. RNG does some odd things with the layout of people in this arena. It really shows you just how random looks. You may not like it, but there is no pattern to randomness. That's the trick. We'll give you all a moment to enter in on out there. Of course, we've got 1 minute left on the draw for you all to enter. And with this as well, if you do enjoy these streams, if you do enjoy the giveaways and all the other bits and pieces, do consider hitting that subscribe button. Every bit of it absolutely helps me to continue bringing all this to you. Let's face it, if I didn't have your support, I'd need to get a different job, wouldn't I? And everyone would miss out on that. Salvatore saying, I know you get to pick your frame with a sub. What about the gun? It comes with the avatar. You get the whole avatar as a single complete thing. So exclamation mark avatars to see the list of them. Not just the ones I provided, but also the ones from the community that have decided to make it available to everyone to use. There are a few of them you can't select because those individuals wanted to keep it personal to themselves, and that's allowed. But yep, you can always check avatars to see the options you can pick from. And Azuldan, thank you very much for dropping your prime here. Much appreciated for joining up to the channel proper. Enjoy your lovely blue sub badge, your emotes, your access to the supporter tea lounge over on the Discord, and let's be honest, the most important reason to a whole lot of you, no more ads. Cheers for that. Alright, it's draw time. Let's go. Who's going to be our winner today of the 75 Platinum? It's not going to be Ackerboy. It's not going to be Jellyfish. If you're up at the front here, that is not where you want to be. You want to wait for the boss char run out of bullets and then be the one to come in heroically and save the day. So today, that person is going to be Chaos Kitty Cat. Congratulations, Chaos Kitty Cat.
Excellent work, Tenno. The extraction point is up ahead.
You are our winner today of the Platinum giveaway. We've already got your details on record, so there's nothing more you need to do. You can simply look forward to that, pop it into your inbox within the next couple of weeks. It just takes that time for DE to process the batches of them, so you can look forward to that there. Quickly from Chuck there, how do we change avatars? Exclamation mark, pick frame, and then just the name of whichever avatar you want to use. Like I say, all the avatar options have their names on them on the avatar page. Not pick a frame, pick frame. One word. Pick frame. Let's see, can Chuck get there? That was Mike picking up an Equinox. Go for it. Except you are not a VIP or subscriber. So, Mike, you can do that if you were subscribed to the channel. Very much an option. What's the command to see the catalogue? Exclamation mark avatars. To see the choice of avatars. Yes, indeed. And here I am intending to wrap up the stream, and somehow we've started a hype train, which is a little bit weird because, yeah, we've had one person subscribed. Why does Twitch keep doing this? This is so weird. I'll be quite honest with you. I'm not mad. I'm just curious. Typically, hype trains are triggered by 3 or more people supporting the channel. But yeah, Twitch just seemed to take chat activity and go, run with it. But the thing is that that's an optional setting. That is an optional setting, and chat, it's not on. It's not on. Hold on, I'm gonna have to look for this. Hype trains. They turned it back on. Twitch. I'm all for a hype train, but only when there's actual, hype. I'll be honest with you. The giveaways we do twice a week, to me, that doesn't really qualify. I don't know about you lot, but that doesn't really qualify as hype. Hype is if we discovered the Equinox had some good features and duality was amazing. That'd have been hype. Enemy, Equinox, aiming just anywhere other than at the enemy, that is not hype. That is absolutely not hype. Thank you, Miracle Raven, for the singular pride bit. Much appreciated. All one bit of it. Right. Let's do that. Close off that. There we go. Hype for the person who gets going with 75 plat. True, yeah. For that one person, absolutely. We were saying, be hyped all the time if a giveaway starts. You don't even enter them. I see it. Let's just close off the giveaway handler. You just use your Equinox for bust for the team. I mean, yeah, fair enough, At its basic level, you can just use Equinox to go, here everyone, have some strength. Or, here everyone, have some shields. which it exists. The base shield on kill is 25. Doesn't Stynex have that as well? Let's see. It is 50. With a base radius of 30 to Equinox's base radius of 18. Oh, okay. Okay. And Stynex does give it to the whole team, right? I'm just gonna look it up rather than wait for y'all to tell me 5 different things. Rally point, Stynex and his allies also regenerate shields for every kill assist they contribute. Yeah. Yeah. So Stynex casts it with a wider range, with a larger amount of shields at base, with also an energy regen for the team. If I'm reading that correctly. Yeah. Oh dear. That is a concerning comparison. If like the only cool thing Equinox does is nuke the room. Nuke the room, sleep things very easily and very economically. Can't overlook that. Rest is a very powerful rest ability. It's very effective. It's stupidly quick to cast. It won't cast if it won't affect anything. So it's also safely efficient. The duration on it is actually pretty good. The range on it is stonking. The AoE is plenty workable because you got nothing else you need to stack into. So, rest, rage, be shiny. Main be shiny. Sorry, rest be shiny. Main be shiny. Mend be passable. Pacify and provoke have their places, but they are problematic. Metamorphosis is just straight disappointment. We don't even talk about the passive. I mean, I would, but I feel like I should only 10% talk about the passive. Yeah. Slaps a bright bonnet on Stynex. Behold, Equinox. You're not wrong. Not wrong. Yeah. Ugh. And Stynex also can remove the armor that Equinox would struggle against. Yeah. Alright. That is where I'm going to stop rambling. I am going to put together a video on this. Equinox does deserve the video, if nothing else, to remind the community, D included, that this 2015 frame, literally out 2 years after Warframe itself began, is maybe, just maybe, due for a little bit of reconsideration. But on that note, that is where we're going to wrap it up. Thank you all for joining in today. I will be live again on Wednesday for some more good old Warframe. We'll look at someone a little bit more capable, no doubt. But in the meantime, have yourselves a wonderful start to your week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.